It's not about being the top volume agency. Over here, it's more about you. And at 1.9% commission with a cap on our commission for the listing side of your sale, no matter what size property you're selling, you will save substantially. This is Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, where you pay less for full service. Benefit-realty.com.
Traffic sponsored by Flanners Home Entertainment. It's flanners.com. Just press play. Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanners Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanners, just press play.
Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 3:01. I'm Greg Matzik in for John Mercure. This is Wisconsin's afternoon news for Thursday, September 5th. Your top story, 3 police officers shot in Milwaukee.
I'm Amy Taylor in for Julia Fellow. The president's first visit to the Badger State after dropping out of the presidential race.
I'm Debbie Lazaga, TMJ Johnson & Sons Paving, time saver traffic.
A slight chance of showers tonight. It'll be mostly cloudy and breezy. Clouds starting to roll into downtown Milwaukee. Topped out about 80 degrees today, a low of 58 tonight. Partly cloudy, breezy, cool on Friday and a high of 68. 79 degrees in Milwaukee at 3:02 from the WTMJ breaking newsroom. 3 officers have been shot on Milwaukee's northwest side, and the suspect, a 35-year-old male, injured and now at the hospital. Milwaukee police confirmed it happened at the apartments near 91st and Custer. Police were trying to serve the suspect with a search warrant when he opened fire. Officers then returned fire. The injured officers have non-life-threatening injuries, and 4 more officers have been put on administrative leave for discharging a firearm.
Decision in Wisconsin, the current president and former president visiting Wisconsin this week. President Biden is in Westby now. He arrived at the La Crosse Regional Airport just after 1 o'clock and is currently delivering remarks in Westby. This is his first visit to the Badger State since dropping out of the presidential race. Former President Trump has a rally scheduled in Mosinee on Saturday. He'll deliver remarks at Central Wisconsin Airport at 1 o'clock.
The latest attempt to curb reckless driving in Milwaukee will soon take shape along a heavily used stretch of road on the city's east side.
A repaved North Avenue, protected bike lanes with concrete barriers, and new bus islands are all part of an upcoming project starting this fall on Milwaukee's east side. City engineer Kevin Muse tells WTMJ his office has learned a lot from the bevy of recent road reworks in the city.
We also got to see where people more likely to comply with the parking restrictions, so that helped us also determine where we needed to put concrete down this year.
On Milwaukee's east side, Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Another Milwaukee street rework is receiving a big boost from the federal government. The city has received $25 million from the bipartisan infrastructure law to support the reconstruction of Center Street. Additionally, over $8 million is being allocated for a bike and pedestrian bridge over I-41 in Oshkosh. Wisconsin also received just over $1 million for 2 safety planning and demonstration projects.
Concrete barriers now surround portions of the Holt Avenue Park and Ride in the latest attempt by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation to get people living in the lot to move out. TMJ4's Megan Lee.
I mean, first of all, you don't want to be out here. Now you feel like you're being closed in.
Closed into the Holt Avenue Park and Ride, which isn't big to begin with. But for people like Tracy Bennett, she started calling this place home in July.
This isn't a joyride. This isn't something we expected.
According to the DOT, over 65 people have worked with the county to find housing over the past few months. Tracy is working to get that assistance. For now, she just asks one thing.
Where do we go? I don't know.
The DOT says they continue to monitor park and ride lots and evaluate further actions to return park and ride lots to their intended use.
With the Packers set to play the Eagles in Sao Paulo, Brazil tomorrow, the South American country is looking forward to its moment in the NFL spotlight.
They are absolutely wildly excited.
A to Z Sports NFL columnist Wendell Ferreira is based out of Brazil, and he tells WTMJ fans from across his country are flying in for the game.
36 million people are estimated to be NFL fans here in Brazil. It's the third largest NFL market in the world.
As for any concern about wearing green inside the venue, Ferreira says, nah, it's just an issue for the local soccer team.
It's basically like saying that you can wear purple at Lambeau Field because the Vikings are the rivals of the Packers.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Siding Unlimited WTMJ News time is 3:05.
This report is sponsored by Diamonds Direct. Your love, their passion.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right. Enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit DiamondsDirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
September baseball is coming, and every Brewers game means even more this time of year. Get to American Family Field as the Crew takes on the Rockies September 6th through the 8th. Get your seats now at Brewers.com.
For your next exterior remodeling project, we know you're not asking a lot from us. You want the right products for your situation, you want a few different financing options that can make your project affordable, and you want us to do a good job with minimal disruption to your life. And this one's important. You want a warranty that matters. And we know that checking every box makes all the difference. You might be surprised at how many moving parts go into it, but we have just the right people in all the right places to pull that off every day and make it look easy. The company we have took us 21 years to build. It's an awesome place to work because we never stop improving it. And we think we can do this work so well that we can actually change the reputation of exterior remodelers long term. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Ask about our finance options.
Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News time is 3:07. Well, more and more Americans are getting a head start on the holiday shopping season.
Almost half of U.S. consumers plan to start their holiday shopping by Halloween. Ted Rossman is a senior analyst with Bankrate.com.
I know it sounds early. I actually think it's a good thing because it gives people more time to find the best deals and spread out their cash flow.
Bankrate found that most people plan to spend less on holiday shopping this year than they did last year. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The NFL season begins tonight. The Chiefs take on the Baltimore Ravens. Packers, meanwhile, begin the season Friday night against the Eagles in Brazil. Matt LaFleur's game plan is in, at least for the most part.
Week 1, I think you might have some ideas for potential adjustments. I just don't want to bog the guys down with too many thoughts. So I think once the plan's in, you just got to be ready as a coach to make adjustments. And it's not going to be anything crazy that we've never done before. And I would expect the same from Philly.
Brewers enjoy a day off after dropping 2 of 3 to the Cardinals. The schedule picks up Friday afternoon against the Colorado Rockies. Siding Unlimited WTMJ News time is 3:08.
This report sponsored by Mr. Holland's Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit MrHollandsHeatingandAir.com.
The U.S. Constitution divides the government into 3 equally important branches, and when they all work together, great things happen. Now, all of us here at Mr. Holland's Home Services aren't constitutional scholars, but we do know how to maintain the 3 most important branches of your home. Instead of Congress, you get heating and cooling. In place of the Supreme Court, you get superior electrical work, and swap the president with proficient plumbing, so you can drain the swamp. Just like Washington, when all 3 work together, they bring harmony to your home. But if your plumbing, electric, or heating and air goes into full veto mode, cast your vote for Mr. Holland's Home Services. Our bipartisan exploratory committee of crackerjack technicians cut through the red tape to find and filibuster the problems that plague your most important constituents. Visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com or call our campaign headquarters at 866-992-1717. We're Mr. Holland's Home Services, and we approve this message.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Amy Taylor.
Oh, back again for those who listen to Wisconsin's Midday News. You couldn't get rid of me that fast. I'm in for John Rickere today. Amy Taylor's in for Julia. Together we are Greg and Amy.
That's correct. And you're very busy today. We haven't had a lot of chance to talk, have we?
I know. You kind of get done with one show, and there's a lot of breaking news here this afternoon. The president has begun his comments in Westby, Wisconsin. Meanwhile, a critical incident involving Milwaukee police, which tops our 3 at 3.
This is the 3 at 3 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
3 Milwaukee police officers shot today at an apartment complex at North 91st Street and West Custer Avenue.
So the good news is the injuries to the officers are not life-threatening. The suspect was shot as a 35-year-old male. He was taken into custody with non-life-threatening injuries. He is now at the hospital, according to Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman, who also offered an update on the injured officers.
So I talked to one. There's a number of different, hospitals I had to go to, unfortunately, but he's in, relatively good spirits. I know that definitely these are individuals who are really professionals in my eyes of being able to, step up to the plate. But I am going to be checking on all of my officers in regards to this incident.
So this happened, Amy, at an apartment complex near 91st and Custer. The suspect is a 35-year-old male, which I mentioned he was injured. He's now at the hospital. And police were trying to serve the suspect with a search warrant. And all of a sudden he started opening fire recklessly and injuring several officers who thankfully are going to be fine ultimately, but a little shook, no doubt, from today's incident. Chief Norman did also say that the officers involved were wearing body cameras, so that footage could be available to us at some point to help better document how it all went down.
It was interesting to hear Mayor Cavalier Johnson also expressing his frustration with the gun violence, and Chief Norman as well also expressing just absolute fury, basically, about how this continues to happen in this city, and people are getting tired of it.
Oh, it's a repetitive theme.
It's a repetitive theme, and they want solutions. Let's see if we come up with any. We're moving to Georgia now, speaking of a shooting. We're starting to hear from the students who witnessed that school shooting in Georgia.
Yeah, mourning continues as 2 students and 2 teachers were murdered yesterday at Appalachia High School in Winder. A 14-year-old boy is in custody, and one of his classmates described what happened when the suspect returned to the classroom after leaving for a brief moment.
All I remember is him at the door, the teacher seeing him at the door, saying, oh, he's here, students going to open the door, then backing up from the door, I guess if they saw something, and then you kind of see him turn, and you just hear about 10 to 15 shots.
Yeah, investigators continue to dig in on this. School, of course, is not open right now. It could open at some point next week, but no specific date has been placed. Investigators still looking for a motive, still trying to figure out how a 14-year-old ended up with an AR-15 assault rifle. And also being thanked today, the presence of school resource officers. They had 2 that helped keep things to a minimum. I know it's a significant and tragic event, but authorities believe it could have been much worse had resource officers not been present at the school.
Yeah, they turned out to be real heroes and acted very swiftly. The very sad thing about this story is that there have been previous threats. They had warnings. We knew this could have happened. So we're going to dive deeper into that with Brad Garrett, our crime and terrorism expert. Also happening now, the President of the United States is in Wisconsin delivering remarks in Westby. President's making an announcement on clean energy right now, a new program that his administration says will reduce greenhouse gases and provide cleaner energy options for rural areas around the country.
Yeah, meanwhile, former President Trump outlining his economic proposals one day after Kamala Harris outlined hers.
In a speech to the Economic Club of New York, Donald Trump said he'd bring about an economic revival.
I am promising low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs.
Trump said he'd blast through bureaucratic hurdles to increase the domestic energy supply.
My plan will cut energy prices in half or more than that.
Trump also said he'd push to lower the corporate tax rate from 21 to 15%, and he said he'd appoint Elon Musk to lead a new federal commission to eliminate fraudulent payments. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Yeah, it's ABC News. Stephen Portnoy. Trump, of course, coming to Wisconsin this weekend. So Wisconsin remains right in the heart of the campaign trail. We'll have some comments from the president coming up in our 3:30 news. 3:14 on WTMJ. Amy teased it. ABC crime and terrorism expert Brad Garrett joins us on the other side. So many questions here. How did a 14-year-old accused of killing 2 students and 2 teachers even get an AR-15 style rifle in his hands, much less the school. We'll dive into that and why he's being tried as an adult, as a 14-year-old. It's after this on WTMJ.
Wisconsin's Morning News is here for you every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Vince Petrano.
Decision Wisconsin, a trio of campaign visits over the next week in our state.
Eric Billstad.
Man from Milwaukee is going to spend decades in prison for the death of his son.
And traffic with Debbie Lozica.
Well, we got some delays for sure. 4394 northbound's kind of a difficult ride. Just north of Holt Avenue, we've got...
The news you need to know. Wisconsin's Morning News on WTMJ.
If you could expand your living space, would you do it? Hi, everybody. Debbie Lozica here for Comfort Awnings in Burlington. And my pals over there at Comfort Awnings can help with that. No, not with an app, but with a brand new retractable awning. These things are so cool. It gets installed on your home, and with a simple press of a button, you have expanded living space right in your own yard, helping to ward off any beating sunshine or even the rain. That's right. You can relax in your own yard with the pitter-patter of rain. Simple process, too. Someone from Comfort Awnings, like Ben, comes out to your home for a consultation. They measure your home and go over all the colors and fabrics and options available, making sure you get exactly what will work best for your relaxing pleasure. Couldn't be easier. On top of all that, Comfort Awnings has a great deal going on right now. From now until the end of September, you can get $250 off any awning or screen. Just give them a call at 414-AWNINGS for a free estimate or visit comfortawnings.com.
At Fleet Farm, we're proud to offer everything you need for everyday life. We're even prouder to offer it at the best prices guaranteed. Like Sprout Sweet Mix for Livestock, on sale for $9.29. Or 2.5 gallons of diesel exhaust fluid, everyday low priced at $6.99. And if you happen to find a lower price, we'll match it. Any day, every day. Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life at the best prices guaranteed.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Traffic is sponsored by Kowal Investment Group, the retirement specialists. Retire well with Kowal.
Our team of fiduciary advisors are here to help you retire well with our streamlined retirement process. Give us a call today at 262-522-4040 or visit us at thekowalway.com.
Traffic and weather at 3:18 on WTMJ. Let's check in with Debbie Lozica. Hi, Deb.
Hey there. We've got some delays, and they are pretty much stretching from Appleton Avenue down past Capitol Drive to about Burleigh. We've also got some backups on 43 southbound from Hampton down to Capitol Drive. Westbound 94 out of the Marquette. Got some backups there. Looking all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. The eastbound side still looking pretty good even through the construction zone out near Highway 16. I'm Debbie Lozica with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Well, clouds are starting to roll in. It was a very nice day. It warmed up to about 82 degrees, and it's still warm outside, but you're starting to see some clouds here in Milwaukee. Could bring about some rain a little bit later this evening. There is a chance. Overnight low of 58. Cooler, much cooler, and breezy tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies at a high of 68 degrees. It is 81 in Milwaukee at 3:19. A 14-year-old is accused of killing 2 students and 2 teachers with an AR-15 style rifle at Appalachia High School in Georgia. And he now faces 4 counts of felony murder, according to charging documents obtained by CNN. How did he get a rifle in his hands? Why is he going to be tried as an adult, given he's 14 years old? We welcome in ABC crime and terrorism expert Brad Garrett. Hi, Brad.
Good day to you.
Hey, Brad, let's start first with what was found or discovered about a year ago when this boy was 13 years old through gaming sites. Evidence that he might have an interest in shooting up a school was found, but nothing was done. So can you walk me through why? How does this all play out?
So in May of 2023, he was living in Jackson County, which is adjacent to Barrow County, where he lives now. And the FBI's threat center got an anonymous tip of someone who was threatening to commit a mass shooting in a middle school the next day. And so they scrambled, figured out who was the person, and it ended up being this 13-year-old. He apparently had used a gaming app to make these posts. So the FBI reached out to the sheriff in Jackson County, who then have his officers interview this kid and his father. And he denied that he had posted anything. And the father said, yes, there are a number of long guns in the house, but that his son doesn't have access to them without supervision. So you have that, and I think the issue they ran into is the following, that in trying to corroborate these threats, they apparently had issues with the gaming app people that they couldn't find them. And so, two things here. Would it, even if they had them, been enough to charge him? Maybe, at best. But the reality is there was nothing else they could do. This kid's a great example of troubled folks that law enforcement may come upon at some point that don't really have anything that they could charge them with, anything serious they could charge them with. And so it just goes on, because clearly law enforcement can't watch every person that they have, maybe some suspicion they could do something illegal or violent down the road.
Well, Brad, one of the concerns was that you said long guns, and I think the father talked about a hunting rifle. The reports we're hearing is that it was an AR platform type of gun, so that is certainly not a hunting rifle.
It is for a lot of people.
Is it? Okay. Please tell me.
AR-15s are super you can use them to do a lot of things. There are people, I've talked to people who actually hunt with AR-15s. So he could, legitimately say that, and there could be an AR-15, in his arsenal, so to speak. And we don't know where this weapon came from, but, logic would dictate, based on his age, he can't legally buy a firearm, that he either got it from his father or he got it from somebody else that he knew had it. We'll see how that plays out. I'm sure law enforcement knows the answer to that question now, and they may well know motive, because according to the sheriff and the GBI agent last night, they said he's talking. So we'll see. I think we'll have some answers if, in fact, they share that with us in the near future.
And Brad, there is some evidence or some track record, I guess, or precedent is probably the best word, for parent culpability, given what happened at a school shooting in Michigan not long ago.
Yeah, and so that really falls into two potential categories. Does Georgia have a law? Michigan has a law that allowed them to charge the parents with, I guess, some version of manslaughter. I don't know if Georgia has that. So that's one possibility. And is this case as egregious as it appeared the one in Michigan was, as far as the parents' actions and behavior? We're both in prison now. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But, this, as I said earlier, this case, we still don't really, we just sort of have the bare bones.
I also heard, Brad, that there was a phone threat to the school saying there were going to be five shootings the morning of the shooting. Are you hearing any reporting about that?
Well, I'm hearing that there was some version of what you just said at another school. But I think law enforcement resolved that, and that it was a hoax call. So they've not said anything that would suggest that this 14-year-old was the one who made that call. Threats to schools is just a common occurrence today. It happens all the time. Bomb threats, shooting threats, and law enforcement checks them out, and they tend not to go anywhere. They're either a hoax or somebody was just being stupid. They had no intention of doing it. They just did it. They just said it.
And he'll be tried as an adult given the heinous nature of the crime. ABC's crime and terrorism expert Brad Garrett joining us. We appreciate it, Brad. Thank you for your time and perspective.
You're welcome. Take care.
I want to dive into more on this story with Bob Donovan coming up. State Assembly's Bob Donovan. There were 2 resource officers at the school that, according to authorities in the area, helped prevent this from becoming a much more severe tragedy. Tragic, yes. It could have been worse if resource officers weren't in place. Meanwhile, MPS continues to break the law and not have resource officers in place, but it does bring about a larger question. Whether it's the Heartland or MPS, do officers need to be on campus at schools, suburban, urban, wherever?
You don't want to feel like your school is like an armed encampment, yet you don't want dead children, right?
Exactly.
So like, what are our answers here? And it strikes me that, these threats are every day. Well, they had several anonymous tips about online threats coming in, about a school shooting. That's going to raise the alarm, as it did in Michigan. And those parents were sentenced to 10 years in prison. And so, I mean, there are ways of holding people accountable. So I think we're gonna start to hear a further conversation. Just listening to the police chief and the mayor of Milwaukee talking about this shooting on the Northwest Side involving the officers, where there were 3 officers injured. Just the proliferation of guns and the frustration that they're experiencing, and the danger that people feel in our culture now.
No city or town is off limits. None.
I mean,
None.
And you don't want to rely on heroes. Somebody shouldn't have to be a hero and to save a life. It should be a matter of safety and protocol and an expectation that our kids can get educated in safety. It's just wrong.
It is time for news about your money. Annex Wealth Management market update. Mixed results here today. The Dow, with a couple of minutes left here before the closing bell, down about 219 points at 40,755. Sorry, the bell has rung. The NASDAQ is up about 43 points today at 17,127. S&P 500 is off about 17 points at 5503. For sound financial advice from a fee-only fiduciary, it's Annex Wealth Management. Go to annexwealth.com and click on the Get Started button today.
Hey, John Mercure here from my friends at Dave Drake Camp Heating. They know our climate is all over the place. This means your home comfort system gets quite the workout. Constant adjustments need to be made to adapt to our volatile weather. Wisconsin prepares you to be ready for anything because anything happens. Fear not, because for over 42 years, my friends at Dave Drake Camp Heating have lived here too, right by your side, ready and prepared for when anything happens. Spring, summer, fall, winter, even when they all seem to happen within the same week. Whether you're experiencing your next home comfort dilemma now or will be soon, call Dave Drake Camp Heating. For free estimates on new equipment, routine maintenance, or just to ensure your system is ready for anything, or maybe because you have a simple question about your home comfort, call Dave Drake Camp today. 262-367-2820. That's 262-367-2820. Dave Drake Camp Heating, your comfort is their family's tradition. DaveDrakeCamp.com.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 128-ounce selected varieties Blue Ribbon Pails, $4.99 with coupon. 3 to 6 count selected varieties M&M's, Snickers, Dove, or Twix Novelties, $3.99. 4 count selected varieties Dannon Multi-Pack Yogurt, 2 for $8. 64-ounce selected varieties Old Orchard Juice, 2 for $5.
I am starving.
Oh, no. Never walk into a Century when you're hungry.
Unless it's free sample day. Ooh, wow, pizza, yes. I'd love to try that one.
My husband thinks he can make a meal out of grocery store samples.
Need to wash this down. I think I see someone handing out samples in the liquor department.
Geez, can we focus on our list?
What's this?
It says you can win 2 tickets to Green Bay's home game against San Francisco on November 24th.
Or autographed footballs, or a 4-pack of Green Bay Hall of Fame tickets.
You have to enter through Century's Facebook or Instagram.
I'll be entering this on my phone in the deli next to that cheese sample station.
I'm shopping at Century alone next time.
Enter by November 6th.
Save now during the Labor Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. Special factory incentives make this the perfect time to save 35% on a new sofa, chair, or sectional crafted by Norwalk Furniture. American made with your choice of fabric or leather in a style and size to fit your need. Available in as little as 35 days. Can't wait? All our inventory is sale priced and ready for immediate delivery. Shop today and save during the Labor Day sale at any of our Ken Michaels Furniture stores in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee. There's no doubt that a better night's sleep makes for better days, and a good quality mattress helps make it happen. When you buy your new Milwaukee mattress from Ken Michaels Furniture, you are assured of a mattress made for your needs out of the finest natural materials direct from our Milwaukee factory. We make every style, size, and firmness of mattress. And with our factory direct prices, you will save up to 50% compared to other brands. Milwaukee mattresses from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Quick question. How are you feeling in 2024? You're not alone if you're feeling stressed about your investment and retirement planning. There's inflation, market volatility, global unrest, and a presidential election that's going to have a huge impact on many levels. There's a lot going on, which might lead to anxiety and planning paralysis. How about this? Take control with help from Annex Wealth Management. Build a plan that matches up with you, your family, and your investment and retirement goals. Even better, Annex does it as a fee-only fiduciary with unbiased advice. We don't sell a thing. Annex offers financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth is a great fit for most, especially when approaching retirement. For those with high net worth and complex planning challenges, consider the Annex Private Client Experience. And if you're just starting out, Annex Ignite might be the right fit. Head to annexwealth.com, click the Get Started button. It only takes a couple of minutes. It's time to put things in order and lower the stress and anxiety. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. That's Annex Wealth Management, annexwealth.com.
Wholesale mulch? No problem. We deliver to residential or wholesale accounts, and we can supply you with whatever volume of the highest quality mulch you need. Nobody around here has more mulch than Erickson's. We'll deliver you a 1-yard pickup truck load all the way up to 100 yards in a walking floor trailer. And if you just need a little bit, swing by and we'll fill up a 5-gallon bucket or two. It's the best mulch you'll find. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Our decorative stone is available by the handful for pickup, all the way up to 24-ton load deliveries. And our stone is superlative. We scour the countryside, countrywide, from Arizona to the Carolinas. We search pretty much the whole U.S. of A. to find you easily the best stone selection in southeastern Wisconsin. See a rainbow of decorative stone colors to match any exterior decor. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Traffic is sponsored by the amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford.
The successful Mineshaft Restaurant in Hartford is hiring positive, professional servers, bartenders, and pizza cooks. You'll make real cash. Inquire today and start next week. MineshaftRestaurant.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
I'm Greg Matzik. Your top story: 3 Milwaukee police officers recovering after being shot.
I'm Amy Taylor in for Julia Fellow. A dead body found in the Fox River.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. We got some delays along southbound 43 from before Hampton down past Capitol Drive. You're back on the brakes heading through the Marquette interchange as well, and onto 4394 southbound from south of Lapham all the way down towards the KK River. Westbound 94 backed up out of the Marquette all the way to about Hawley Road. And then westbound 894, a heavy ride there as well, out of the Mitchell all the way to Loomis. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Slight chance of rain tonight, mostly cloudy and breezy, a low of 58. Partly cloudy, breezy, cooler tomorrow with a high of 68. It is 80 and cloudy in Milwaukee. At 3:33, our top story: 3 officers recovering after being shot on Milwaukee's northwest side. It all happened at the apartments near 91st and Custer about 10:15 this morning. Milwaukee police were trying to locate a man wanted on several felony charges. Officers tried communicating with the suspect when he fired shots at the officers. They returned fire, and eventually he surrendered. 2 firearms with extended magazines were recovered from the scene. Meanwhile, 3 officers have non-life-threatening injuries. An update from Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman.
So I talked to one. There's a number of different, hospitals I had to go to, unfortunately, but he's in, relatively good spirits. I know that definitely these are individuals who are really professionals in my eyes of being able to, step up to the plate. But I am going to be checking on all of my officers in regards to this incident.
The 35-year-old suspect was arrested and taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
Hearing from the chief again, now crime numbers are down overall, but Milwaukee's seen an alarming rate of teenagers not even old enough to drive, stealing cars and committing other crimes at gunpoint. That's why the chief of police, Jeffrey Norman, sent a letter addressed to the community last week.
Chief Jeffrey Norman tells Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth that although MPD is part of crime prevention, their primary directive is to enforce the law.
Hey, we're willing to, talk about solutions, what we can do better as a department.
But also, I hope that this was kind of that look in the mirror type of situation, too. Like, okay, but what are you doing?
Although the letter addresses the community as a whole, Chief Norman has particularly strong words for parents.
You can't just sit on the sideline saying, hey, my child, or, here, have them. That's not going to be acceptable.
Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Investigating how the body of a dead man ended up in the Fox River. City of Waukesha Forestry personnel found the body about 9:30 this morning near Moreland Boulevard on the north side of the Riverwalk around Frame Park. Law enforcement says there were no obvious signs of trauma. The deceased man was wearing shorts when recovered, and articles of clothing were found along the shore. Cause of the manner of death of the man is still unknown.
Hate crime and homicide charges coming in the death of an inmate at the Green Bay Correctional Institution.
24-year-old Jackson Vogel, who is white, had been in the same cell as 19-year-old Micah Loriano, who was a mix of black and Hispanic, for just a few hours before the incident leading to Loriano's death. Now, Brown County investigators are referring multiple charges with hate crime enhancers against Vogel, who remains in custody. Vogel's initial Brown County court appearance has not yet been scheduled. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports desk. The NFL season begins tonight in Kansas City. The Chiefs take on the Baltimore Ravens. Packers are on the ground in Brazil. A walkthrough practice today. They'll take the field Friday night against the Eagles. And no game for the Brewers after dropping 2 of 3 to the Cardinals. The schedule picks up Friday afternoon with a 5:10 start against the Rockies.
Signing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 3:36.
This report is sponsored by Diamonds Direct. Your love, their passion.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right, enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit diamondsdirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
For love of the game.
There's nothing like being selected to the Olympic team.
And love of their country.
Championship of that level, gold medal, means more.
Tune into Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Inside stories from Bucks stars on the agony and triumph of competing to win it all at the Olympics. It's Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts. Wisconsin's Afternoon News on WTMJ.
Craig Nancy and Amy Taylor with you on Wisconsin's Afternoon News, the Thursday edition. We're going to talk to State Representative Bob Donovan coming up in about 10 minutes. Have you ever been to a drone show?
Isn't it amazing that I have not, and in fact really don't know what they are?
Okay, so drone shows are growing in popularity. And they incorporate hundreds, sometimes thousands of those, those quadcopters. You've seen a drone.
Sure,
you know what that is, right?
Yes, of course. I got the basics. I just know do you show the drone or do you show the pictures from the drone? Like, what are you watching?
Okay, well, I'm glad you asked that. So picture thousands of these quadcopters flying in a coordinated fashion with LED lights on the belly.
Oh, so it makes like a decoration kind of thing?
Yes, absolutely.
A design?
So they're usually equipped with multiple LEDs, and the display is held at night, so it shows up in the night sky. The first drone show on record goes back to 2012. And the first one that I remember actually seeing was when Lady Gaga performed at the Super Bowl in 2017. There was a couple of hundred drones. Like, what is that? It looked like a light show in the sky. It's exactly what it is. But those lights are attached to drones. Well, they're becoming larger and they're becoming more frequent. Drone shows. We've seen a couple of them here in Milwaukee. One at the Villa Terrace.
Were you at that one?
I was not. And the other was a part of the Homecoming, as in Hone Bridge.
Okay.
Which happened a couple of weeks ago here downtown. It was on the water. If you're out on a pontoon boat, you watch a drone show.
Very cool setting. And so is Villa Terrace. That's kind of about looks out over the water.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. These are highly coordinated, highly specific, and incredibly detailed and accurate.
Well, what mistakes can happen?
What could go wrong?
What could
right,
go
Amy?
wrong with all of these things flying around?
Here's what's going right. You and I are not controlling the drone show, because if it was my drone, it would be in a tree or on a roof.
Oh, speak for yourself. can't even get the 3 o'clock newscast on.
So Andy Ackman is an FAA certified drone pilot, and he works for Northern Lights Drone Shows. They're located in Caledonia. He got started decorating his own house, synchronizing it to Christmas lights. Kind of cool. Started as a hobby, and it quickly became a full-blown passion.
After doing it at my house, I got connected with the Jellystone Park in Caledonia. They do a drive-through Christmas light show in the wintertime, and I started working with them, working on their Christmas light show and doing IT work for them. And, we were trying to think of a way to add some nighttime entertainment for the guests, and I came up with a nighttime drone show. So we've been flying shows there for 4 years now, and after so much popular demand, we started doing a traveling show.
So I'm watching these things, and I've seen them on YouTube, and I'm thinking to myself, well, how many pilots do you have to have? If you have 2,000 drones, does everybody have, for lack of a better term, their own little remote control kind of flying this thing in sync?
No idea how this works. Is it going through a computer, and is everything being run like that, like a rundown? And
Yes, you are on the right path.
Everything is pre-programmed, so we have a team of designers. We have 3 or 4 people that will work on a show, all contributing pieces to it. And then, we have our pilot that goes out on the day of, and they're the pilot in command is the main person in charge there.
Controlling every one of those things.
That's right. So there's a lot of pressure, because everything, thousands of people will be there watching, and it's all on you to make sure everything goes right. So it's a lot of pressure, but it's a big reward seeing all those, smiling faces and hearing all the cheers and everything. So depending on how many drones on the day of, we'll have a crew that'll come and help. But really, it's just the pilot and a couple visual observers to make sure everything is safe.
There you go. It's all computerized, operated by one person.
It's kind of like an ultimate gaming kind of thing, right? But you're saying there's only one person controlling many.
Yes, and it
crazy.
It still leads me to believe that you could have a mistake, you could have an issue, you could have something go wrong. But the planning is very specific and particular.
We customize everything to the event that we're flying a show for. We want to make the content relevant. We want to celebrate the community and the event, and we're really invested in the success of each event that we go to. So, like Homecoming, for example, it was awesome flying stuff in front of the home bridge and just being a part of that kind of Milwaukee culture. And, so we took a lot of cues from them as to what they would like to see in the show, and then we bring ideas as well. And it's really just a collaborative experience.
But I had the same question as you. How does Drone 5 not crash into Drone 6?
I have no idea.
It all goes back to the computer programming. The drone knows to get off the ground and go to a specific height and perform a specific function.
It's all programmed and calculated.
At a very specific time.
None of the drones know there's another drone in the sky. They all take their direction by what, the launch pad is pre-programmed through GPS and Google Maps, and based on what slot we set the drone down on at the site, it knows that it is going to fly that portion of the show, do its lighting effects, and land in that exact same spot. So we hit the go button. All the drones know their individual tasks. They do them, and then they land. So, yeah, there's no coordination among them. They just all do their own thing.
They operate independent of one another.
Does anybody have a sense of how high this is happening? And is it affecting the FAA? Is this an issue with air traffic?
It's a very interesting question because it can't do these over people. Right?
No, no drones over people?
Exactly. You have to be kind of in your own space, for lack of a better term, and you cannot be over the head of people.
Well, have you ever had this happen? I've been at a park, and I've had some guy, flying his drone next to, it could be a woman, but, more likely a man flying a drone. And I'm trying to, I don't know why I'm going down that path, but why is that safe? Because I was thinking this person could fly this drone right into me if things don't go right.
Exactly.
And that's not going to feel good.
No. So drone shows have only been around for about 12 years, but these are becoming ever more popular. They've got staying power.
I think it has staying power, really. I mean, you look at fireworks, have been around for hundreds and thousands of years or hundreds of years. And I see no reason why drone shows wouldn't be around for hundreds more years, because really the possibilities are endless. You can really create whatever you can dream up. You can create that in the sky.
So some people wonder if this will replace a fireworks show, a standard fireworks show. Is it safer? Is it easier? Is it more interesting than standard fireworks? You think about entertainment in the sky. How many options do you really have?
And how about the expense? I mean,
That
fireworks is literally blowing up money, What's the expense of the drones comparatively? I have no sense of
It's
what those cost.
right, but it is a investment that you make, but you get multiple flights and shows and usage. Some believe that fireworks shows will be replaced. I don't know if I'd go there yet. Andy believes that the drone show can be one and the same.
We actually have the ability to strap pyrotechnics to the drones themselves.
There we go.
Oh.
And yeah, so it's still very safe. You know, we keep our safety zone and everything like that, and it's close proximity pyrotechnics like spark showers and comets, things that don't explode. So, but that's we're one of the few companies in the country that are able to do that. So it's a new thing, but it's going to be very cool.
Yeah, drone shows.
Just what I need, the guy in the park with the pyrotechnic on his drone.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything is getting frightening.
Well, this is your challenge. In the next year, I want you to commit to seeing a drone show.
I think it'd be kind of interesting. I think it'd be. Have you seen one?
I did not see the ones that were in Milwaukee. I've only seen stuff just kind of on YouTube and.
Do they translate on video, or is it like fireworks?
Yeah,
where it's sort
I think
of
it does.
Meh.
I think it does.
Yeah,
they
cool.
are spectacular. I would like to be at one in person. Then you get the music and the ambiance.
Yeah,
and,
that's cool.
And all that. But yeah,
Good
drone
to know.
shows. Definitely a thing. 3:45 on WTMJ. State Representative Bob Donovan is going to join us coming up on the other side. The idea of police officers at a Georgia high school helping to limit a tragedy, well, the result of that is still wondering what's going to happen in MPS, where 25 resource officers are supposed to be in place. In fact, they were supposed to have been in place as of January of 2024. It's still not the case. Brings about a larger question. What is the role of officers at schools, suburban or urban? We'll dive into it after this.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
There's an active car fire on Brewers Boulevard southbound.
Call me, Debbie Loziga, at the Hall Volkswagen traffic tip line at 414-238-9329.
There's a multi-vehicle accident on 45 northbound, just over Mayfair Road. Looks like the left 2 lanes are blocked.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it?
There's a multi-vehicle accident. Looks like the left 2 lanes are blocked.
Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
WTMJ's Julia Fellow here for Elmbrook Family Dental. I wanted to tell you I just went to their 3rd location, now open in Wauwatosa. It is gorgeous, state-of-the-art. Head to elmbrookfamilydental.com. The new patient process is so easy. I love their 2 convenient locations in Brookfield, and their new Wauwatosa location is just a block north of Blue Mound at 800 Mayfair Road. Head to elmbrookfamilydental.com. That's ELMBROOK familydental.com.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, you can always find the best brands at the best prices. But for a limited time only, we're offering our lowest prices of the year throughout the store. Like 40-pound bags of Blaine's Black Oil Sunflower Seed, $17.99, just $15.99 for awards members. Save $17 a bag on Scott's Turf Builder Fall Weed and Feed, only $62.99. And all multi-pet dog and cat toys are buy one, get one free. Don't miss your chance to get our lowest prices of the year, only at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik here for Flanners Home Entertainment. Does the audio and video system in your home need an upgrade? Well, Flanners has all the solutions and the installation experts to simplify and upgrade your home entertainment experience. Forget about the impersonable big box stores and risky online purchases. You go with locally owned Flanners, where quality service, the best brands, and guaranteed best price remain top priorities. Stop by Flanners in West Dallas, Grafton, or at Flanners.com. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play. Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's. Flavor is our family's business. Traffic and weather, let's check in with Debbie Loziga. Hey, Deb.
Hey there. All right. Well, we start off, we've got an accident. This is off the freeway. It's on Highway 100 northbound at Burleigh. The right lane is blocked. on Highway 100. So heads up with that. We got some delays along southbound 41 between Appleton Avenue and Capitol Drive. Westbound 894 is heavy out of the Mitchell Interchange all the way to Loomis. Another heavy pocket heading towards 68th Street as well. All that because of the construction zone there. And then on westbound 94, slowing from 16th Street all the way past Mitchell Boulevard, almost to Hawley Road. While you're out navigating the roads as quickly and safely as possible, if you see something we should know about, call the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen traffic tip line at 414-238-9329. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Clouds starting to roll into downtown Milwaukee. Could bring about some rain later tonight. We'll have a low of 58 degrees tomorrow. Not warming up too much. 68 your high under partly cloudy skies. 64 and partly sunny on Saturday. Right now it's 79 degrees and cloudy in Milwaukee at 350. 14-year-old Colt Gray will be tried as an adult after killing 4 people at Appalachia High School Wednesday afternoon. 2 school resource officers helped bring Gray into custody. Officials believe the situation would have been much worse had it not been for the swift action of officers Tanner Good and Brandon King. Meanwhile, it becomes a simmering controversy here at MPS where resource officers were supposed to have been in place per the law as of January 1st, 2024. To date, they are not in MPS halls, and there's really no clear end in sight, no resolution on that, anywhere near a resolution on that. Maybe later this fall, maybe sometime by winter. It does bring up a bigger discussion. Should they be everywhere in Wisconsin public schools or private? I'd like to welcome in State Representative Bob Donovan, public servant. You've had health and safety on your mind, really going back to your time serving the Milwaukee Common Council, then as alderman, Bob. You know, you look at the situation, let's start specifically with MPS. They're kind of dragging their heels on this. The design of resource officers is to keep a place safe and also connect with the community. And these are 2 things that aren't really happening right now with MPS.
Well, you hit it right on the head. It is very frustrating to me that they have really dragged their feet here. They've had well over a year since the agreement was reached and passed to implement something that had been implemented years ago in MPS. We're not in new territory here. They've had resource officers in the past. Matter of fact, well over a year ago, Chief Norman indicated to me that they're ready and they have officers that could go in the schools, some of them previous resource officers that could be assigned to schools. So to me, it's just very frustrating and sadly indicative of the ongoing dysfunction and chaos that we see in a variety of fronts relating to MPS.
So this is not a funding issue. You're saying, and you're saying the police have the officers ready to go.
The police have the officers ready to go. The arrangement that was arrived at in the negotiations was basically the city would pay half and the MPS would pay half, which was the case previously. Now, that pays their salaries, basically, for those officers assigned there. So to me, with all the money that MPS has gotten over the years, that's a non-issue, paying these officers. They're dragging their feet, in my opinion, for other reasons. I don't know quite what they might be.
Do you have a suspicion?
They should have. Well, I think the officers were removed from the schools following the Floyd tragedy in Minneapolis, and there was a great deal of negative press relating to the police. I think that has something to do with it. I think there's a concern among some what the role of the officer might be in the school. I look at it as common sense. I look at it as the old beat cop. The foot patrol officer, instead of protecting a neighborhood, is protecting a school. And instead of getting to know the residents in the neighborhood, they're getting to know the students. And the students are getting to know them. And that can make a world of difference. The sharing of information, the trust that's built up, it can go a long way in diffusing small concerns before they become full-blown problems. And to have that officer on site, I think is just so important, most especially this day and age. And heaven forbid, if a tragedy were to occur and someone with a gun, doesn't it make sense to have someone in that school, a trained professional officer, armed, that can deal with that? Seconds matter in times like this.
The officers in Georgia were properly trained. Tanner Good and Brandon King, de-escalators. They helped control a tragedy, right? A tragic event in a Georgia high school could have been much worse if there weren't resource officers. You know, we're using MPS as an example because they're breaking the law, quite frankly. But it opens up a larger question here, Bob. Does it make sense for resource officers to be available urban, suburban, from Sussex Hamilton to MPS to Heartland Arrowhead? Because you never know when a gun might get into the wrong hands of a sick teenager.
Well, you're absolutely right, and I certainly wouldn't be opposed to that in any sense. Having said that, most of schools around the country, at least the larger high schools and so on, many have employed school resource officers for years. As I said, MPS did years ago. But yes, I would agree with you. And I think, too, the police community relations, the student police officer relations, that's an important relationship to develop. And I think these officers, the right officer doing that job, can make a world of difference in a school. So I look at it as a very, very positive step. And other people apparently don't.
Yeah, MPS has said they're doing research to try and figure out what the role of a resource officer in today's climate should be, looking at other cities and other districts. That's fine if you want to kind of update the job requirements, but it's something that should have been done nearly a year ago. State Representative Bob Donovan, appreciate your time today, Bob. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, you bet, guys. Thank you.
It's 3:57 on WTMJ. News is next.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
This report sponsored by the Pfister Hotel. Make your reservations today and visit thepfisterhotel.com.
For over 130 years, the Pfister Hotel in downtown Milwaukee has been delighting guests with impeccable service and luxurious accommodations. Celebrate your next special occasion with a stay at the Pfister. Enjoy fine dining at its acclaimed restaurants and pamper yourself with a service from the Wells Spa and Salon. Experience the hotel's afternoon tea program or take in live music with the best views of the city from Blue, the 23rd floor cocktail lounge. Make your reservations today at thepfisterhotel.com.
When you need to sell quickly, choose Grandview to buy your home. Don't worry about real estate agents or showings. We'll buy your home as is, no repairs or cleanouts needed, and you'll get an offer in hours. Visit GrandviewHomes.com for your fair cash offer today.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late-stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms, memory care issues. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. I've been in their places. I love how they deal with people. It's about compassion and empathy at Azura. Kindness is at their core. 14 locations from the Mississippi to Lake Michigan, 4 here in the Milwaukee area. Wisconsin-based and family-owned. It's about kindness and care. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Injuries happen, but you don't have to play in pain or stay on the sidelines. Whether it's your kids dealing with a sports injury, college athletes, or the rest of us weekend warriors, the experts at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin will quickly diagnose your problem, lay out a treatment plan that works for you, and get you back in the game. They fixed my knee. My mother-in-law is back on the dance floor with a new hip. These are the experts you can trust. Visit orthowisconsin.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Traffic is sponsored by Kowal Investment Group, the retirement specialists. Retire well with Kowal.
A strong retirement plan should go beyond investment management. At Kowal Investment Group, our fiduciary advisors can help you reach your retirement goals. Call us today or visit us online at thekowalway.com.
Your hometown hub for everything that matters. The latest news, traffic, weather, and sports on Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 4 o'clock. I'm Greg Matzik in for John Mercure. This is Wisconsin's Afternoon News. It is Thursday, September 5th. Your top story, the police chief responds after 3 officers are injured.
I'm Amy Taylor in for Julia Fellow. An arrest is made at the Milwaukee County Zoo.
I'm Debbie Lazaga, and we are still seeing some delays out there. 41 southbound, for example, coming in from Appleton Avenue down past Capitol Drive towards Burleigh. Northbound's got a couple pockets of heavy traffic as well. North to North Avenue up towards Capitol Drive as well. Off the freeway system, but in that same general area, we have an accident on northbound Highway 100 at about Burleigh. The right lane is blocked with that, so watch out for that. Westbound 94 slowing from 16th Street out to Hawley Road, and then we got the eastbound side slowing down from about 76th Street through to about 35th. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Slight chance of rain tonight, mostly cloudy, breezy, and a low of 58. Partly cloudy, breezy, cooler on Friday, and a high of 68. It is 79 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 4:02. From the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman expresses frustration after 3 officers were injured in a shooting.
This is unacceptable. This should be, a problem for our community, and we need to make sure that we're turning this type of behavior around, not only locally, but also nationally.
The incident happened this morning at the apartments near 91st and Custer about 10:15 as officers tried to find a man wanted on several felony charges. The suspect fired shots at the officers who then returned fire. The 35-year-old suspect was injured, surrendered, and ultimately arrested. 3 officers have non-life-threatening injuries. 4 more officers are on administrative duty for discharging a firearm.
Arrested for trying to take an animal from the zoo. 26-year-old Melanie Maparizzi climbed over a pedestrian wall barrier at the Henry Vilas Zoo today. She tried to enter the African donkey enclosure, then touched the animal through the chain link fence and tried to take photos. When confronted by staff, she became angry and hit staff before running around the zoo. Madison police arrested Maparizzi for disorderly conduct, citing her for trespassing, and banned her from the zoo.
Construction begins this fall on the city of Milwaukee's latest effort to curb reckless driving on North Avenue.
Milwaukee City Engineer Kevin Muse and 3rd District Alderman Jonathan Brostoff educating the masses on the upcoming North Avenue rework on the city's east side.
Most of the feedback, once people have realized that it's not we're tearing up the road for 12 months, has been positive.
Safer streets for everybody, benefit everybody.
Alderman Brostoff says the impact of the project reaches beyond just cyclists and pedestrians.
People who have mobility challenges and skateboarders, people on scooters.
On Milwaukee's east side, Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Yeah, much of the construction is expected to be completed by November.
New concrete barriers have gone up at the Holt Avenue Park and Ride in an attempt to stop people from living in the parking lot. TMJ4's Megan Lee.
For people like Tracy Bennett, she started calling this place home in July.
This isn't a joyride. This isn't something we expected, we planned on.
When did they put these out here?
just a few weeks ago.
A spokesperson for the Wisconsin Department of Transportation says this is the latest measure to get people to vacate the park and ride.
You know, and next week they'll come and push them a little bit farther, and then come and push them a little bit farther until there's no place to go.
The DOT says they're working on other ways to return the park and ride lots to their intended use.
Well, the National Weather Service has confirmed 2 tornadoes touched down in northwest Wisconsin last week Thursday, upping the year-long tornado count to 44. Both EF0 tornadoes. One touched down near the village of Beldenville in Pierce County. The other at the village of Wilson in St. Croix County. WTMJ meteorologist Craig Copleen says this year has seen the third most documented tornadoes in Wisconsin going back to 1950.
With the Packers set to play the Eagles in Sao Paulo, Brazil tomorrow, the South American country is looking forward to its moment in the NFL spotlight.
They are absolutely wildly excited.
A to Z Sports NFL columnist Wendell Ferreira is based out of Brazil, and he tells WTMJ fans from across his country are flying in for the game.
36 million people are estimated to be NFL fans here in Brazil. It's the third largest NFL market in the world.
As for any concern about wearing green inside the venue, Ferreira says, it's just an issue for the local soccer team.
It's basically like saying that you can wear purple at Lambeau Field because the Vikings are the rivals of the Packers.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Coming up, giving up on a goal.
Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 4:05.
This report is sponsored by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more. SidingUnlimited.com.
Does your home need a new defensive coach? Have wind, cold, or water breached? I recommend Siding Unlimited. Wind and cold get through your windows? Siding Unlimited fixes that. Water challenging your roof? Siding Unlimited fixes that too. Is the siding letting the elements through or just looking offensive? Fixing that is Siding Unlimited's first and continuing specialty. When weather's offense beats your home's defense, contact Siding Unlimited. Their name says siding, but they are so much more. Whatever the breach, put Siding Unlimited in. Their good work is on display at their unique outside-in showroom. They're waiting for you. What are you waiting for? SidingUnlimited.com.
Gorgeous new roofs, showstopper siding, or classic brick and stonework. How about modern windows and regal doors that'll make your chin hit the floor? To a lot of people, having these things can really make them enjoy where they live. It makes them proud. But there's always one thing standing in the way. How do I make that happen? At Semperfi Roofing and Exteriors, we have excellent financing options for most people in most situations. 12 months, no interest, no payments, and exceptional rates for long-term loans that will beat your bank with no additional fees or hidden costs. You can go to SemperfiRoofing.com to apply for your pre-approval today. We want to make any project affordable to almost any person, and we've gone out of our way to find partners that can help make it happen for you. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semperfi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semperfi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi.
Ask about our finance options.
Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 4:08.
In the Midwest, the ultra swimmer nicknamed the Shark has given up on his latest quest to swim across Lake Michigan. Bob Kessler reports.
The online tracker following Jim Dreyer shows he returned to Grand Haven, Michigan. That's where he started his 82-mile swim to Wisconsin Monday night. The tracker showed him swimming west, but his route was more of a C shape than a straight line. And at several points, he backtracked in a figure-8 pattern, moving in the water but not getting any closer to his destination.
The 61-year-old has tried 4 times since last year to swim across Lake Michigan.
He said it was shaped like a C. I actually saw this. It looked more like a butt. It looked more like the backside of a human.
I knew you'd have something insightful.
And then I got to thinking, maybe this guy knew exactly what he was doing.
Talk about just a futile thing. I had issue with he was swimming at night, too. But does anyone
it's a long
care?
Swim.
It's going to be bad anyway you slice it up.
That's a long swim.
4th time was a fail. Sorry about that.
Got to get back up and try again. You finish what you start.
You say go
There's
again.
There's one lesson you've learned in life. That's a good one.
You say go for 5?
Yes, you must.
At age 62?
Complete it.
All right, then. I like your attitude.
Now what? Oh, yeah, time for sports. WTMJ Sports Update from the Group of Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. We got football tonight. Yeah, there we go. We got a sounder and everything. The Chiefs take on the Baltimore Ravens. The Packers, meanwhile, in Brazil to play the Eagles on Friday night. Matt LaFleur holding tight to the game plan. And the Brewers enjoying a day off after dropping 2 of 3 against the Cardinals. Schedule resumes Friday afternoon against the Colorado Rockies. Siding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 4:09.
This report sponsored by Pella of Wisconsin. Discover Pella now, pay later at PellaWI.com.
Jeff Levering here asking the question, what does baseball have in common with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Manufacturing. Pella manufactures all their own products. Baseball teams have a similar homegrown strategy by developing its own players in the minors. Testing. Pella tests every product thousands upon thousands of times to ensure it stands the test of time. The ultimate test for baseball players to get called up to the big leagues, hoping to play well enough to stay. Pella is also the window and door equivalent of hitting for the cycle. Quality craftsmanship and innovative design are built into every Pella product for timeless beauty and performance. And now, Gina Della from Pella is here to call the big finale.
Thanks, Jeff. Pella windows and doors are best in class, not only from the endless styles, but for the features you can't see. And now for something you almost can't believe. Get as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door per month. Hurry, the deal lasts only until September 30th, so visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Amy Taylor.
Happy to be with you until 6 o'clock tonight here. It's the Thursday edition of Wisconsin's Midday News. Keep in mind at this point, tomorrow we'll be honing in on Brewers baseball. So the Brewers had to do a schedule correction once the Packers game was announced as being a Friday night primetime matchup. The Brewers went back to the drawing board and said, well, let's maybe change up our 7 o'clock start time. But they couldn't move it any earlier. So I had some people ask me, like, well, why can't they just play a 1 o'clock game? Well, here's the problem. Because the Colorado Rockies, their opponent, has a night game tonight. So there are MLB rules in place for a team playing a night game to then fly somewhere and play a day game. You have to have more time in between games if there's travel, right? Yeah. So the Brewers are getting this in about as early as they possibly can per MLB rules tomorrow. So it's going to be a 5:10 Brewers start. And the Packers kick off at 7:15 tomorrow night. So for people wondering why it's an oddball 5:10 start versus 1:10, 3:10, 7:10, there are rules in place.
Yeah. So and does it have anything to do with recovery, or is it just about the travel?
Yeah, I think it's mainly a night game plus travel, then playing a day game the next day. That just baseball likes to avoid that. Mm-hmm. So that's the situation here. But the Brewers are also looking at it saying, well, we don't want to go up against the Packers tomorrow. Let's try and separate best of both worlds. Enjoy the Brewers game and enjoy the Packers game if you're a Wisconsin sports fan.
Cool.
That's what we got tomorrow. Good. Unlimited PTO. Have you ever worked in a place where unlimited PTO was a part of your compensation package?
Absolutely not in the news business. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, because sweeps week, and you can't do this, and then holidays, and you can't do this time, you can't do that time either.
There's a lot of restrictions on vacation, that are contractual most times,
Yes.
Yeah, negotiated, like pretty heavily negotiated, right?
So unlimited PTO has become more and more a thing across a variety of levels in whatever industry, whatever sector, right? It used to be kind of a thing where maybe it's upper senior director and above kind of thing. It's discretionary vacation. And companies have experimented with this, but it's becoming more and more a popular thing for companies to have, even at the more junior levels of employees. But companies are starting to get away from it. More and more job seekers are saying no to unlimited PTO.
So it's not the employers that are saying no. It's the people who are looking for jobs do not want to deal with unlimited PTO.
And now the companies are doing a course correction because they thought, well, if we dangle that carrot out there, unlimited PTO, boy, it sounds great to say, doesn't it?
It kind of sounds awesome.
Unlimited PTO?
I just take whatever vacation I want whenever I want. Well, it doesn't work like that, but hypothetically, it's supposed to put more of your own productivity in your own hands and your sense of your own time, right? You could, if you're productive and you work hard, then you could take that time off in exchange.
Yes. So among workers in all kind of PTO arrangements, 78% in a poll of over 1,100 employed U.S. adults, 78% say they do not take the maximum amount of time off they are allowed. So if they have 2 weeks, 78% are saying, I'm not taking all that time.
So they're not even utilizing it.
That's one component to the discussion.
Which is why, because do they fear retribution? Like, hey, you shouldn't really be taking the time off that we said you could have unlimited amounts of?
That's a part of it, right? And there is sort of a level of fairness, right? So let's go back to the model of unlimited vacation. So my wife has unlimited vacation.
Wow.
Unlimited. I do not. But I've worked here for a number of years, more than 2 decades, so I've accrued quite a bit of vacation time. So our thought is, well, you got to cap it, right? I know it's unlimited, but is there a cap in your mind? And you probably discuss it with your manager, maybe, but maybe you settle at 5 weeks. I don't know.
Vacation costs money, too, for
It
everybody.
does.
Yeah.
It does.
Right.
But the thought process is if I have unlimited vacation, I am less likely to use the days that I would use if I had 4 or 5 weeks. I may not get to using 4 or 5 weeks. I don't have any rollover opportunities, things like that. So now people are looking at it saying, maybe it's not as cool as it sounds.
It's not really that meaningful, is what you're saying.
Right. It sounds like the perk of all perks, but you get into this, should I or shouldn't I take that extra day?
What and how do you feel about it?
I don't have it, and my wife does. We went on a long trip in June, and I had plenty of vacation time to use, and I still have time left. And I think, hey, look, I've been here 23 years. I have 5
You've
weeks of
earned it,
vacation,
pal.
right?
You've earned it.
I've been here a long time.
When you say long trip, like more than a week?
We were gone for 10 days. I think it was 7 work days.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it was one less because we had a vacation day built in there. It's one of our company holidays.
Right.
My wife used that time as well. She didn't have to deduct it from a bank. She didn't have to file her hours. She submitted her time. She took yesterday off as our girls were getting ready for school. We have this kind of gap between childcare coverage and school beginning.
Well, that kind of thing is really
take a day and do it, right?
Really helpful for people.
And typically, if she's got one of those days, she ends up hopping online anyway and doing a little bit of work. And I would presume that is somewhat common as well. It's not a total vacation day that if you're home, you're doing a little bit of work.
Right.
Workplace experts say there isn't one perfect blanket time off policy. It all comes down to a company's PTO culture in general, how time off requests are managed, and how comfortable employees feel taking needed time away. I'm using every day.
Well,
I'm using every day.
I mean, you've been a manager. I mean, you've dealt with scheduling. You've had people come to you with time off requests. How do you feel like that's perceived in a culture, and how have you witnessed a change over the years?
In my time managing, I never denied a PTO request, ever.
Never denied it?
Never.
That's awesome.
Never.
That's why you're such a good boss.
And I think in my 20-plus years working at WTMJ, I think there was one New Year's Eve where I was hoping to get off, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So I ended up working, right? And there was like one day, that's just part of the culture here too, whether it was Journal or Scripps or now with Good Karma Brands, time off was treated fairly. I've always felt that it's been treated fairly with the different levels of ownership we've had of this company.
Yeah, I mean that's really important. But I've heard some squeaking in my own career when managers have had to grant paid time off and they found it problematic to try to staff.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you hit on something interesting, and someone on our text line brings up a very good point. Unlimited PTO also means if the company lays you off, they don't pay you for X days of unused vacation.
You're just out of luck.
No, you're just done.
You're done.
No, you're just done.
You're
right?
it's over.
Might be a severance, there might not be, but they don't have to pay you for unused vacation. What is your preference? If I'm going to hire you, Amy, full-time to do whatever it is, you're going to join our team, you're going to be a part of it, would you say, that sounds great, I'd like unlimited vacation?
I mean, that just seems so out of my realm in terms of the type of work I've always done where you have to be there. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that feel the same constraint in terms of what their role is. And I feel like today's generation is so different. They're like, oh, we're not going to be in an office. We have our laptop and we're going to check in when we can and how we want to and do what we want. I feel like they're much more at the same time empowered, as some people might say entitled For me, it feels like almost wrong to say, oh, you could take unlimited amounts of time. Isn't that weird? That's just, maybe I'm old school that way.
I think it may be a product of the profession, too,
Yeah.
and what you're used to. You're almost told in, I would say TV more than radio, that you can't take off this time.
Right,
and you can't take off this time, and you can't take off this time.
Doctors, police officers, nurses, educators, they have to be there.
We had one sort of, I don't even want to call it a mandate, but they said, the RNC is on, we're going to need you here. Right?
Yeah.
And all good, right? That was an interesting event to cover.
That's a reasonable expectation.
Companies with unlimited PTO policies had lower ratings for employee sentiments around work-life balance, culture, and values and leadership, according to a report. And job postings mentioning unlimited PTO take longer on average to fill than those that don't, 41 days as compared to 34.
Is it because people feel it's too loose or something? Like, is it?
I think 5 years ago, if you saw unlimited vacation or discretionary vacation on a job posting, that would have been an immediate draw. Now, though I believe vacation time, PTO time is still a big deal and still negotiable, I think it's a double-edged sword when you talk about discretionary vacation, because at the time you're looking for the job, you don't know who your manager is. You don't know if they're cool with 3 weeks or 4 weeks. You don't know how much they take, right? You don't understand the inner workings
of have the
where
culture.
you're applying.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? If it's 4 weeks or it's part of your negotiation back and forth, and you know what I mean? There's a little give and take there.
I mean, I'm thinking
then it's clear. You know what you're walking into.
Right. I mean, I'm thinking, and you can remember this, like working for the journal company, it was 10 days after a full year of employment.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a lot. I mean, it was a kind of a high bar to get vacation,
That is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that specifically. I remember there being a couple weeks when I was finally full time. I think it was 3 weeks because that's what I had at a previous job or something like that. But again, it was discussed going in.
Right. You knew what the expectation was.
It wasn't unlimited, but we're going to soft limit you to 10 days. Wink, wink.
But let's be clear that people do come back refreshed and happier when they have some breaks.
There's no doubt about that.
Right.
I strongly advise you, if you have vacation time, use it. You got it for a reason. I'm not opposed to rolling over a couple of days if I know we're going to be taking a longer trip or would like to. At the end of a given year, we can roll over a few days, I think, here with our company. But typically, I'm using those days.
It's interesting, too, when you think about people being sick and that we dealt with that as a culture and a nation. But it's nice because I think maybe there's not so much pressure to come in if you're ill, too, if you're like, okay, I can take this off.
Well, that's another discussion, probably for another time, because when we were a previous company prior to Good Karma Brands, everything was sort of lumped in. It was PTO and sick days. It was all kind of lumped in one.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Versus being separate. A lot of companies separate them, PTO and sick days, coded separately.
Right.
But our previous company had it all lumped in.
And so you'd have to take a day off, right, and call in sick and not get paid? Is that what you're saying?
It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Deb, you remember that?
I do remember that, and I remember being very strategic about our vacation planning because I wasn't getting sick a lot back then either, so at least I got that going for me.
Yeah.
But still,
that is something going for you.
Yeah, Deb and I have been around a long time. We know how these things work.
So is Amy.
we do.
It's 4:23 on WTMJ.
Welcome to another episode of Analysis, man.
From Bucks superstar Giannis.
And then I'm going to Chris at the time. What did coach mean? What do you?
And even Green Bay QB Jordan Love. There's only one call for these conversations.
I've never been in the Lambeau, and I have to, right? What is this Lambeau league?
Tune in to the Thanalysis Show, presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Find it today on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere you get podcasts.
Hey, John Mercure here for Guthrie & Fry Water Conditioning. I've got their water softener. I've got an RO system from Guthrie & Fry. That means the water coming into my house is filtered. It's crisp, clean, clear. Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie & Fry. Quality products and services at a fair price from a local company you can trust. Guthrie & Fry protects the water in my house. They deliver the salt. Sue and Rob, owners, very generous. And on top of it, they'll treat your family like their family. Southeast Wisconsin's #1 choice is Guthrie & Fry.
Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie & Fry.
At Fleet Farm, we're proud to offer everything you need for everyday life. We're even prouder to offer it at the best prices guaranteed. Like Sprout Sweet Mix for livestock, on sale for $9.29. Or 2.5 gallons of diesel exhaust fluid, everyday low priced at $6.99. And if you happen to find a lower price, we'll match it. Any day, every day. Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life at the best prices guaranteed.
When I finished law school, my grandpa was long retired from working in the Rapids paper mill.
Dan Krause, Army veteran and owner of Krause Estate Planning in Brookfield.
Grandma and Grandpa asked me to help them get their wills set up. This was my first experience helping people with estate planning. I loved it. I loved helping my grandparents with this. Now, 25 years later, essentially that's all we do. We help people with wills, trusts, and asset protection.
Shore up your estate plan with Krause Estate Planning in Brookfield.
Traffic sponsored by 2 Men and a Junk Truck. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't.
From removing unwanted clutter or junk to full-service residential or commercial cleanouts, get a free same-day estimate at 2menandajuncktruck.com. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Town Bank. It's Wisconsin's bank. It's my bank. I know I'm a little biased, but it is the best bank. Best banking solutions, best customer service. I know what you're thinking, customer service. I hardly ever go into the bank. Well, I do go into my Town Bank location in Menominee Falls, but even if you primarily use the bank online, through the app, bill pay through your computer, all of that stuff, there will come a time where you need customer service, and Town Bank, part of the Wintrust family of community banks, has the most robust customer service online. You ever feel like you're kind of being pushed around by your bank, like they're just making things harder, or like they don't even know you? Let me tell you a little bit more about Town Bank. They take a different approach, whether you need unique banking solutions, a new home, or help planning your financial future. They've got local experts ready to lend a hand. Start banking where you matter. It's townbank.us. Different approach, better results. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. It's Town Bank. It's Town Bank through and through, in your community, involved and engaged. It's Town Bank.
Big news! We're relaunching our Capital Cares Club, now with no trip fees. As a member, we will never charge you to come to your home. We also give you a whole home electrical safety inspection because Capital does electrical now too. And if you join by September 30th, we will give you 3 months free and install a free whole home surge protector. That's important because all those little power surges sap the life from your appliances and electronics. You need the right breaker, so if you don't have it, we'll let you know. So, in addition to all the other benefits, an electrical safety inspection, no more trip fees, and if you join the Capital Cares Club, I'm recording an ad here, buddy. If you join by September 30th, you get a free whole home surge protector and 3 months free of the Capital Care. We're renaming the club to what?
Join Merle's League of Home Defenders today, online at callcapitalcares.com.
Merle's League?
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here. It's your knee that's bugging you, right? Or is it your back? For some of us, it's the hips. Achy joints with pain you can't get over. Well, there is a way to fix it. There is a way to get lasting pain relief using your own body's healing properties. It's all thanks to QC Kinetics, advanced regenerative medicine. QC Kinetics can help enhance your joints, improve mobility, and get back to doing all the fun things you like to do without pain. No surgery, no painkillers, and no downtime. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using cellular therapies. If you want to learn more, the consultations are free. You can set up an appointment at QC Kinetics. They have clinics in Mequon and in Greenfield. Here's the number, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call now and get lasting joint pain relief with the help from QC Kinetics. 414-285-3474.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed results today. The Dow down 219 points, closing at 40,755. Been a pretty rough week for the Dow. NASDAQ finished up today about 44 points at 17,127. S&P 500 was off about 17 points at 5503. For sound financial advice from a fee-only fiduciary, it's Annex Wealth Management. Go to annexwealth.com and click on the Get Started button today.
For your next night out, make Aria, the acclaimed restaurant inside St. Kate the Arts Hotel, your dinner destination. Aria, nestled on the second floor of St. Kate, is an artful dining experience that captivates with its culinary creativity. Delighting in its offering of artisanal American cuisine, the restaurant transcends tradition and leans into the realm of playful and inventive flavors. Come and experience the magic of Aria, where every bite is a work of culinary artistry. Learn more and make reservations at aria@stkate.com.
When you have a stuffy nose, life can be a bit unpleasant. Some live every day with a stuffy nose, and that can make life downright miserable. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula with Advent, where we are committed to eliminating your nasal breathing problems with simple in-office procedures like balloon sinuplasty, which requires no surgical cuts, little to no downtime, and can have you breathing better in less than 30 minutes. At Advent, we understand your inability to breathe freely limits your quality of life. And that's why we continue to pioneer the most advanced in-office procedures that have made our practice a global destination for those seeking to live their highest quality of life. Visit AdventKnows.com to see if you're a candidate for the balloon sinuplasty procedure. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scafidi, and I'm hosting another free webinar with our great partners at Annex Wealth Management. Join me and Director of Retirement Plan Services, Tom Parks, to review the best strategy when it comes to your financial future. We'll answer your questions on 401k planning, strategies to maximize your growth potential, and more. All you have to do is register. Text WEB, W-E-B, to the WTMJ Talk and Text line 855-616-1620 to prioritize your financial future. It's another free webinar from Annex Wealth Management and WTMJ.
Traffic sponsored by Flanners Home Entertainment. Flanners.com. Just press play. Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanners Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanners, just press play.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It's 4:31. I'm Greg Matzik. Your top story, President Biden's push to end gun violence.
I'm Amy Taylor in for Julia Fellow. Additional years behind bars for the man responsible for the Waukesha Christmas Parade.
I'm Debbie Loziga. Still seeing some backups on westbound 894 out of the Mitchell Interchange, heading through the Loomis area all the way to 68th. Southbound 43 backing up from Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge down to the KK River. Northbound slowing down from just before National Avenue through the Marquette up to about North Avenue. We got westbound 94 heavy out of the Marquette all the way to about Mitchell Boulevard. Beyond that, you're good to go into Waukesha County. I'm Debbie Loziga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Mostly cloudy and breezy. Slight chance of rain tonight at a low of 58. Partly cloudy, breezy. Much cooler tomorrow at a high of 68. It is 77. Clouds are rolling in Milwaukee. At 4:32 from the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, President Biden speaking at an event in Westby, Wisconsin today. Before announcing a major project investing in rural electricity, the president commented on Wednesday's school shooting in Georgia that left 4 dead and several more injured.
As a nation, we cannot continue to accept the carnage of gun violence.
Biden says he and the First Lady are mourning the victims, calling for bipartisan action to pass gun safety legislation.
Meanwhile, here in Milwaukee, Police Chief Jeffrey Norman remains frustrated at the gun violence in the city. He spoke after 3 officers were injured in a shooting on Milwaukee's northwest side on Thursday morning.
These officers could have lost their lives today. Unacceptable. This is something of a trauma on their end, but also it is traumatizing to our community.
The 35-year-old suspect was wanted on felony charges and fired shots at the officers who returned fire. The suspect, along with the officers, were injured. 4 more officers are on administrative duty for discharging a firearm.
Additional years behind bars for the man responsible for the Waukesha Christmas Parade tragedy. 42-year-old Darrell Brooks was sentenced to an additional 9 years in prison for second-degree recklessly endangering safety and intimidating a victim, pleading no contest to both felonies in May. The count stemmed from November 2021, an incident where Brooks threatened, punched, and then drove over the leg of his then-girlfriend at a Milwaukee gas station. The Milwaukee County judge on how the sentences will be served.
Those counts
will be consecutive to one another because they were decisions made on different days. You made volitional decisions to engage in that behavior on separate days.
The crimes were committed days before the 2021 Waukesha Christmas Parade, where Brooks drove his SUV into the crowd, killing 6. He's serving 6 life sentences in those deaths.
Investigating how the body of a dead man ended up in the Fox River right now. City of Waukesha Forestry personnel found the body around 9:30 this morning near Moreland Boulevard on the north side of the Riverwalk around Frame Park. Law enforcement says there were no obvious signs of trauma to the body. The deceased man was wearing shorts when recovered, and articles of clothing were found along the shore. The cause and manner of death of the man are still unknown.
Hate crime and homicide charges coming in the death of an inmate at the Green Bay Correctional Institution.
24-year-old Jackson Vogel, who is white, had been in the same cell as 19-year-old Micah Loriano, who was a mix of black and Hispanic, for just a few hours before the incident leading to Loriano's death. Now, Brown County investigators are referring multiple charges with hate crime enhancers against Vogel, who remains in custody. Vogel's initial Brown County court appearance has not yet been scheduled. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Keep your eyes on the roads in Walworth County. The Wisconsin State Patrol is conducting special traffic enforcement across the county today. They'll be focusing on speeding, distracted driving, and making sure people are properly wearing seatbelts.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited. WTMJ News time is 4:35.
This report is sponsored by Fox World Travel. Visit foxworldtravel.com today for more information.
No matter what your timeline is, you deserve a journey to paradise with Fox World Travel and Royal Caribbean. When you get the craving for sunshine, poolside fun, and ocean views for miles, there's no reason to hold back. Make the most out of your time with an all-in-one cruise vacation. Let a Fox World Travel cruise expert save you from the daunting task of choosing from ships, ports, and staterooms. And visit foxworldtravel.com to plan your next cruise vacation. That's foxworldtravel.com.
WTMJ's Julia Fellow here for Elmbrook Family Dental. I wanted to tell you I just went to their 3rd location, now open in Wauwatosa. It is gorgeous, state-of-the-art. Head to elmbrookfamilydental.com. The new patient process is so easy. I love their 2 convenient locations in Brookfield, and their new Wauwatosa location is just a block north of Blue Mound at 800 Mayfair Road. Head to elmbrookfamilydental.com. That's ELMBROOK FamilyDental.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
Sometimes I confuse shows. On the midday show, we do a sports, traffic, and weather. So I'm going to give you sports here. The Packers are in Brazil. They play tomorrow. NFL season kicks off tonight. Brewers don't play. Let's go to Alex Stone for traffic. Hello, Alex.
You want traffic?
He does not have traffic. In Milwaukee, well, you're used to L.A. traffic. I imagine doing
I'll do it
traffic
from the
in LA.
chopper. I can get the helicopter going here. Yeah.
I imagine that'd be a mess in Los Angeles.
High above the zoo. What are the other ones I hear?
You're doing good. Yeah, Mitchell to the Hale. We'll get you the lexicon and the vernacular.
Yeah, there we go.
Good stuff. We welcome in Alex Stone, ABC's Alex Stone. Hunter Biden back in court, pleading guilty to all 9 charges in his federal tax case. This just happening moments ago. The district judge, Mark Scarzi in Los Angeles, has accepted the plea. Alex is covering the story.
Yeah, so this is happening literally right now. In fact, he just left the courthouse a moment ago, got into a black SUV. A representative of his just came out and spoke to reporters. But what a day this has been. This was supposed to be the day that his tax evasion trial started here in L.A. 120 jurors, they showed up to the courthouse. They were waiting today, thinking jury selection would get underway. This was a surprise to prosecutors. They thought that it was going to be jury selection, and then on Monday, opening statements. And Hunter Biden and his team walked in today and told the judge, no need, there's not going to be any trial because he is changing his not guilty plea. But they didn't say he was changing it to guilty. And that's important in this. Prosecutors, they were totally caught off guard, and they said, well, only if he says he's guilty, otherwise nothing else will do. And Biden's team kind of went, well, we're not really saying guilty right now. And the judge called a recess. They went in behind closed doors. And while they were in there, we found out that he was trying for what's called an Alford plea, where he would plead guilty but maintain he was innocent. Typically used, and these are very rare, but in cases when someone believes they are innocent but know that there is so much evidence against them that they're going to be convicted, and it is rare, everybody would have had to agree on it. And prosecutors from the special counsel said no, that absolutely not, because they say Hunter Biden is 100% guilty, that the United States of America was not going to go along with that, and that they said no way, and they would have been up to the judge, and even the Attorney General's office would have had to get involved. And so they went back and forth until about an hour ago, an hour and a half, when Hunter Biden walked into the federal courtroom and said he was abandoning that he, after being sworn in, told the judge he understands the consequences of his guilty plea, 17 years, up to 17 years in federal prison, $1.3 million fine, dressed in a dark suit, thick-rimmed glasses, spoke clearly, voice showing little emotion, told the judge he admits that he is guilty of every count against him, that he committed the crimes, and wants to plead guilty. So that got done a few moments ago, sentencing set for December. It ends the trial. There will be no trial, but he could be looking at some serious prison time.
Well, these prosecutors must have, first of all, been outraged at the last-minute switch and then put a lot of pressure on to get this plea done today.
Yeah, they were not thrilled about this Alford plea that his team came in with. And one of his attorneys is Mark Garagos. Remember that name?
I sure do.
So many big trials.
OJ,
Scott
the OJ
Peterson.
trial.
Yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of them. And so he was part of this, and the prosecutors were not liking any of it. But in the end, this was not a deal because prosecutors said no, that they knew they could get a conviction and get him a long time in prison. So they were saying, remember, there was a potential deal in Delaware to put this case with the gun case that he got convicted on 3 months ago, but then that fell apart. And the special counsel said no, that they were not going to go for a deal in this one, and they wanted to go to trial unless he was going to plead guilty and put an end to all of this, and that's what he has now done. And, you know, part of this may be to avoid, we know prosecutors said in their indictment they were going to bring up that he spent tax money on drugs, on escorts, on girlfriends, exotic cars, that there was a lot of dirt that was going to come out.
It was going to get really ugly for him.
It was going to get really dirty in many ways. And so, you know, bringing up escorts and sex and all of that, that it appears that his side just decided they want nothing to do with it. By the way, the White House reiterated today what Joe Biden has said, that he is not going to pardon him. That could change in that, you know, imagine between this and the gun case in Delaware, he's looking at potentially 40 years in federal prison. If you had the ability with a signature on a piece of paper to get your son out of 40 years in federal prison, probably any dad would do that. But the White House and Joe Biden continue to say that they will not do that.
Yeah, Alex, I want to be clear on what he is pleading guilty to and what he is not pleading guilty to, because prosecutors allege that he failed to pay $1.4 million in federal taxes. Hunter Biden says, no, I did pay that back. Is he backtracking on that thought or sentiment?
No, I mean, basically the government has said, yeah, you may have paid it back after your cocaine addiction in 2019, but that doesn't matter because you didn't pay it when you were supposed to pay it. He says, well, look, and his argument was going to be, I was in an addiction and I paid it with penalties after the fact, and the government was saying, that doesn't matter. You didn't pay it when you were supposed to pay it. So he is admitting 100% guilt on these counts, one felony count of tax evasion, 2 of filing false tax returns, 6 misdemeanors for failing to pay taxes, and it's guilty on all of them.
It's a fascinating story. ABC's Alex Stone covering it for us. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate your time today.
Thanks, guys.
You bet. It's 4:42 on WTMJ.
Get inside the mind of Mark Tauscher.
When you did the impressions of Coach Alvarez, which I love doing on the radio with the state now.
See the world from his perspective.
When Barry would get really mad or very frustrated, his voice goes up 15 octaves.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, every day at 7:50.
God dang it. Come on, we got guys over at the towers not paying attention.
Mark Tauscher, presented by Hello Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and Kohler Services.
Hey, John Mercure here from my good friends at Connect Chiropractic, voted Milwaukee's top chiropractor by the Milwaukee Business Journal's readers. They help with headaches. They help with sleep concerns. They help me with my neck and my back. I kind of carry my stress in my upper neck area, and I wasn't feeling so great till I started going to Connect, and now I feel better all the time. I go every week. 2 locations, easy to get to. One in Tosa, one in Delafield. Dr. Alex, Dr. Marley, Dr. Olivia, they're going to take great care of you. They've got a long-term care focus on total wellness. It's Connect Chiropractic.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
It's here on consignment from over 10,000 nationwide partners. From very high-end, distinctive furniture, unique antiques and original art, to tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. Premium home decor priced right at 25 to 40% off retail prices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Smart interior designers know that what they'll see here is going to be almost impossible to find anywhere else, especially at our consignment prices. Premium home decor that's gently loved and close to new. And what we carry can raise the wow factor of anyone's home decor. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Dan, I love what we do at Inspired Closets.
Can you count the ways?
First of all, we're 100% locally owned, helping families in southeast Wisconsin calm the chaos and eliminate stress. We're not a franchise. And our lifetime warranty and price match guarantee.
Yes, Katie. Milwaukee homeowners have trusted the Anheuser family for 55 years for our commitment to quality, service, and competitive prices.
And we get to work together.
Yeah, that too. Buy local and save money today. InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
A wife and husband team.
Save up to 50% on better quality furniture and mattresses during the Labor Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture.
Time saver traffic with Debbie Lazaga. All righty. Well, we've got some delays southbound on 43. We've got backups from about North Avenue all the way down through the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge. Northbound is a bit backed up as well from National Avenue through the Marquette up to Fond du Lac Avenue. Westbound 94, backups from 16th Street all the way to Hawley Road. The eastbound side is a bit backed up from 76th Street through the Stadium interchange. We also have some delays in the other construction zone, which is from before Meadowbrook Road to Highway 16. You'll be riding the brakes through that whole area. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Well, rain is possible tonight. Clouds are starting to roll in. It was beautiful for a good portion of the day. Still nice out. Comfortable temperatures anyway. Might see some rain tonight, maybe an isolated pop of a thunderstorm, and a low of 58 degrees. It's going to cool off tomorrow. A high of 68 under partly cloudy skies. 77 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 447. So the Packers have not even begun the season yet, but already preparations are underway for the 2025 NFL Draft in Green Bay. So this is going to be the largest event in state history, the NFL Draft coming to Green Bay next April.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's going to be a major, major deal, right?
Big deal.
So already you're starting to see hints of the NFL Draft in the form of corn mazes. Have you seen this?
I mean, this is actually such a great idea. Do we know where this all started? Like, who said, okay, let's make this an NFL thing?
So it's genius. Now, if you've not seen these NFL draft-themed corn mazes, there are a few in the state of Wisconsin. One is near Stevens Point. We actually talked to a dairy farm owner on Wisconsin's Midday News a couple of days ago. You got to check out our live stream here. Just text the word WATCH to 855-616-1620. Brandon's put a picture of this NFL draft-themed corn maze that it can be found on Phelps's Dairy Farm in Stevens Point. What I find interesting is that within the corn maze, you do see the word Green Bay or words Green Bay, But this is very clearly an NFL Draft 2025 corn maze and not a Packers corn maze. In other words, somebody was working with somebody to make this happen.
Yeah, this is like a lot of forethought involved because you were saying this isn't just mowing a maze.
No. So the first thing that I wonder whenever I see a corn maze is who's the one on the tractor or whatever farm equipment you got carving out the intricate details of this corn maze. Now, this corn maze in particular has the NFL logo. It's spot on. It has NFL Draft 2025. It looks exactly like the NFL's logo looks. There is a quarterback holding a football. There is a football. There are the words Green Bay. It is an unbelievably intricate and well thought out corn maze. So we had to get this guy on the air to talk to us about it. Jake Feltz is his name. Feltz's Dairy Farm. He joined us. And first question, how do you get selected to do something like this? Who puts you in touch with the NFL or vice versa?
We were doing a different story with the Wisconsin Farm Bureau, and they had been in touch with someone through through Green Bay's organization, and they were looking, for some corn mazes and pumpkin kind of fall attraction places throughout the state to kind of hook up with and to help promote the draft that's coming up here in 2025. And we did not yet have our design finalized for our corn maze. And I'm a big football fan, so it seemed like an obvious thing for me. We were really excited to do it, and then kind of person by person, it spread along, and they got us in contact with someone through the Packers, and we kind of linked up and got a maze designed and got it planted, and now it's growing and it's just about ready to open. So that is kind of how it came about.
Yeah, so you'd be able to walk through this thing, right? It is a legit functioning corn maze. It's not just an advertisement.
I think it's really cool for people who aren't able to see it right now that it is very elaborate, and there's a maze on the football player himself.
Yes.
That's all. I mean, it's just really cool. And so explain how it's made.
Okay, so this is maybe the most fascinating answer to a question because not all corn mazes are created the same. Here's how Feltz's Dairy Farm does it.
I think this is our 6th year having a corn maze, and what we do is we work with I work with a lot of other people, a lot smarter than myself, so you don't have to necessarily be that smart, but you got to know smart people. So I work with people who design it, and then once we get everything finalized and approved, we work with kind of another precision agriculture team, Swiderski Equipment, and then we work with another farm that actually does a lot of our planting for us. And they get all of those files sent into their planter, actually. So then when they plant the field, each row just turns off and on automatically, depending on where we want the seeds. And it follows that file that's already in that planter and gets everything planted. So then it kind of, there's always a few weeks where it's kind of scary. Once they plant it, you can't see it necessarily if it turned out. But then 2 or 3 weeks after that, once it starts coming out of the ground, we can see that design, and we've got a drone, and we kind of follow along each day. I send that drone up there and take pictures. Everything's done through computers nowadays, and it gets planted, and we don't have to go out there and really cut anything.
Yeah, so the planter just knows where to put the seed and where not to put the seed.
We're talking unbelievably intricate machinery that can do this. And, of course, it's millions of dollars for these machines.
And then you got to cross your fingers, right? So you do it, and you're going to have to wait a little bit before corn starts to sprout.
Wait, can I ask another kind of they're no stupid questions, but, okay, I'm seeing it from above. Can you see it at all? Like, what? Is it on a hill so you can see part of it if you're driving by? No, you have to go in?
So not really. So
right.
I've seen some more ground level images of this, and it's really just like, go to any corn maze at any fall festival, right? The corn's going to be over your head, and there will likely be an entrance somewhere, but you just sort of, you have no idea what this looks like if you're just walking through it. Not a clue.
Right.
Now, I had thought maybe the field was planted, and then somebody went through and sort of mowed everything down and made it look like that. Well, that's, I guess, how it used to be done and how some farms still do it, but not all.
Some people I know still go out and they'll cut their maize after they plant it. Some people use GPS, like on a zero-turn lawnmower. Or some people still, they'll kind of use a grid pattern and they'll draw it out on paper and then go out in the field and make that same grid and do it by hand even, which is a little more time-consuming in my opinion. So luckily We're kind of younger. We've got a lot of robots on the farm, and we're pretty up with technology. So we do it that way, and it seems to turn out really nice and clean, and creates a really nice, clean walking path for all the visitors as well.
So there are still some farms that go the more traditional or old school method, let the corn grow, then mow out your design, and there you go.
You just couldn't do it with this type of elaborate situation. And what's a no-turn lawnmower?
The zero turn, that's where you have got, for lack of a better term, like a lever on the left and a lever on the right. And if you move one lever forward, your mower sort of turns that direction. You can pull back.
Oh, I've seen
You can just
those.
sort of spin.
Yeah.
I've got one. I just kind of go around the
Do you
neighborhood with
really?
it. Oh, it's a lot of fun.
That's kind of cute.
But I can't imagine using that to mow out this corn maze.
No, you'd be there forever. You would be there forever.
Here comes another question that I thought made sense.
Yeah.
This is clearly an advertisement. This is a billboard. This is being shared nationwide.
And
Everybody
now we're sharing
knows that the Green Bay Packers are going to host the draft. Do they get paid for doing this?
It's kind of advertising in two directions. So the maze, it's kind of a way to promote the draft. And then we've just been getting a lot of attention from it as well. So there's been, actually just the other day, we had somebody who was in Maine, and they said that they were just randomly at a sporting goods store, and the person working at the store said they saw our maze. So it's really spread very well. We've got a lot of attention from it, and hopefully we can do that right back and give some attention to the draft coming up and to the great state of Wisconsin. And when people come here next spring to Green Bay, and hopefully they'll get out and see some other parts of the state as well.
Yeah, so no is the answer to that question. They don't get paid to do it.
They don't.
No. Their attention is being drawn to the farm. People are going to come to the corn maze. So like you said, it's sort of a dual purpose advertising.
So they're charging for the admission to the maze? And that's their...
I presume. I don't know what else they have at Phelps' Dairy Farm. If you can milk a cow, maybe pick some apples. I'm not really sure.
I would think that that Mr. Phelps would be able to profit from the NFL. Maybe I should be his agent. Don't you think, though?
It seems like a clear advertising strategy to
good
me.
one.
And what
very
he's saying
visual.
is that you get it both ways, that more people now know about this farm.
Awareness of his farm.
Because of the advertising. You only get one shot at this, by the way, per season?
It's kind of just one design a year. So we plant it in the spring kind of as soon as the snow clears. And then it grows all summer, and we keep it up until we close. And then usually, once we get to November, all that corn will get taken off, and then it works out really well. It's kind of dual purpose. So we use it for the corn maze all season, and then when we're done, we can still use a lot of that grain from the corn, and we can harvest it. But yeah, it's just kind of, you only get one shot every year. That's what I mentioned earlier. After you plant it, it's always a little scary, because if you screw it up, you really only have that one chance.
Yeah, that's it. Just one shot at it.
Pressure's on the maze.
Got to get it. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah, I've been lost in a maze, and I just looked at my husband. We were with the kids, and they were probably like 8, and I looked at him like, "You got to get us out of here," because I have no idea. Have you ever had that happen?
I've not been in a corn maze that was so big that I felt like, I'm never getting out of this thing.
Well, the sun was setting, and it was in Michigan, and I just remember thinking, I hope, and we were the last people there. It's a little creepy. He claims that he absolutely knew within his very soul that where we were, and he got us out, so he did.
Guessing you had a good glass of wine that night.
Yeah.
It's 4:57 on WTMJ. News is next.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
Waukesha Bakery, Mama Ducky's Desserts, is on the move. The downtown business says it is relocating to the former home of Pat's Rib Place. The hotel plan near Brady Street is moving forward. Over a year after receiving city approval, a raise permit has been filed, though it is unclear when demolition might start. A prominent downtown Milwaukee office building and gym have been sold for $17 million to a Chicago area investor. The City Center building was purchased by E.A. Staples and Associates, who plan to continue leasing the office space and convert the gym into an athletic and social club. I'm Drew Dawson with MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on News Radio WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Hey, there's free pizza today at the Mine Chef restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Merck here. I love the Mine Chef pizza. Every Thursday, when you buy one pizza, you get a second pizza free. Buy 2, get 2 free. Buy 10, get 10 free pizzas, any size, any quantity. Hey, coaches, bring in your football, soccer, cross-country, volleyball, swim team. Have them beef up on the free pizza. Your players will love the Mine Chef's world-class game room. It's big food, big fun. It's super affordable team bonding. Bring in pizza today for your loyal employees and your clients. They'll appreciate you, and your second pizza is always free. Business owners and managers, order now and pick up your pizza shortly or dine in. And the Friday 3-piece dine-in fish fry is just $4.99. That's nuts. $4.99. The Mine Chef right there in downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh. Don't even think about turning on your oven. Just walk into the Mine Chef today for your free pizza with plenty to take home for tomorrow. Check it out, minechefrestaurant.com.
This report sponsored by the Pfister Hotel. Make your reservations today. Visit thepfisterhotel.com.
The Pfister Hotel is pleased to announce that it has entered Phase 3 of its extensive renovation plan. After the full revitalization of the hotel's event spaces and historic guest rooms, Phase 3 focuses on the hotel's first-floor public spaces and is set to be completed this fall. The renovations will accentuate the grandeur of Milwaukee's most beautiful lobby while reinforcing the hotel's approachable sophistication. Experience the newly renovated guest rooms today. Start planning your stay at thepfisterhotel.com.
An unsuspecting driver at a Milwaukee barbershop.
I got an apprentice here shadowing me. I'm gonna put this hot towel on, man. About a good 3 minutes, all right?
The apprentice is Donald Driver.
So when you come here, you drive?
Yes.
Your car got seatbelts?
Yeah.
You wear them?
No.
Okay, but why not?
I don't want to.
But do you know you can get a ticket for that? I'm gonna give you a ticket. Bet you wish you buckle up now.
Oh my God. Donald Driver can't always be there to remind you.
Take it, click it. There we go. Click it or ticket.
And let's reduce fatalities on Wisconsin roadways. Sponsored by Wisconsin DOT.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you the farm supplies you need because we get you. Right now, it's our fall fencing sale, which means unbeatable prices on trusted brands. Like assorted Balin 6-rail utility gates, buy one, get one half price. 5-foot studded steel white-top T-posts, $4.50 each. 4x6-foot speckled utility mats, 2 for $70. And 142-piece DeWalt socket set with case, $99.99. We get you what you need because we get you. At Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Hi, I'm Jim Token, president of Adam, the automobile dealers of Metro Milwaukee. I want to thank all the participating new car member dealers, and especially all of you who helped us recently present a check to Feeding America of Eastern Wisconsin for over $72,000, just by having your oil changed at an Adam member dealer. The donation provided over 220,000 healthy meals to those in need. Thank you again for changing your oil and changing lives.
Buying a home should be a joy, but could you imagine doing this without a realtor? Paperwork, inspections, appraisals, deadlines, showings, market research? Or you could relax. Or understanding legal documents, negotiating offers, coordinating inspections, securing finance. Oh, sorry. A realtor can take the stress out of the home buying process. See how at wra.org/a-realtor-can. Brought to you by the Wisconsin Realtors Association.
Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
The Fox and Hound Supper Club in Hubertus is hiring servers, bussers, food runners, expo and bar backs, and cleaners. Make real money. It's perfect for high school and college students, parents, and grandparents. Tell your kids and start next week. FoxandHoundsRestaurant.com.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Richlands.
Traffic sponsored by Flanners Home Entertainment. Flanners.com. Just press play. Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanners Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanners. Just press play.
Keeping you informed, keeping you safe, keeping you engaged and entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
I'm Greg Matzik in for John Mercure. This is Wisconsin's Afternoon News. It's Thursday, September 5th. Your top story, more time behind bars for a Christmas parade tragedy.
I'm Amy Taylor in for Julia Fellow, pleading guilty to tax evasion.
I'm Debbie Loziga. Eastbound 94 going to be slow from Meadowbrook Road to Highway 16. Through that construction zone, you'll be back on the brakes a little bit more coming out of the Barker Road area, and then from 84th Street through the Stadium interchange. Westbound 94 heavy out of the Marquette all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. We've got southbound 41 heavy from Appleton Avenue all the way down almost to Burleigh. And then on northbound 43, we've got some backups out of the Marquette all the way up past Fond du Lac Avenue, but it opens up before you get to North Avenue. I'm Debbie Loziga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Slight chance of showers tonight. Mostly cloudy and breezy, a low of 58. Partly cloudy, breezy, cool on Friday. Slight chance of rain and a high of 68. 77 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 5:03 from the WTMJ breaking newsroom. 9 more years behind bars for the man responsible for the Waukesha Christmas parade tragedy. 42-year-old Daryl Brooks pled no contest to felony second-degree recklessly endangering safety and intimidating a victim in May. The counts stem from November of 2021, an incident where Brooks threatened, punched, and then drove over the leg of his then-girlfriend at a Milwaukee gas station. The crimes were committed just days before the 2021 Waukesha Christmas parade, where Brooks drove his SUV into the crowd, killing 6. He's currently serving 6 life sentences in those deaths. The Milwaukee County judge ruled the new sentences would be consecutive to what Brooks is already serving.
3 officers are recovering after being shot on Milwaukee's northwest side today. Police were looking for a man wanted for multiple felonies at the apartments near 91st and Custer around 10:15 this morning. Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman.
The suspect fired shots at our officers. Officers exchanged gunfire with the suspect. After the gunfire ceased, officers continued communication with the suspect. At this time, he surrendered 2 firearms with extended magazines and was subsequently arrested.
The 3 officers have non-life-threatening injuries, and 4 more were placed on administrative duty for discharging their firearms. That's standard protocol. The 35-year-old male suspect was arrested and also taken to the hospital for his injuries.
Drivers and pedestrians on Milwaukee's North Avenue will soon see new features on the road, aiming to curb reckless driving.
A roadmap is in place for a rework of North Avenue running between Humboldt and Prospect on Milwaukee's east side. City engineer Kevin Muse has overseen a lot of road reworks over the last few years in Milwaukee and tells WTMJ this project will take a much shorter time to turn over from start to finish.
If you look at our Highland Boulevard project between 35th and Fleet last year, that was a very similar project to what this will be, so a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah. On Milwaukee's east side, Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
And construction is expected to begin this fall and finish in November.
Coming up, what are those airline miles really worth?
Siding Unlimited WTMJ News Time approaching 5:06.
Sponsored by Grandview Homes, the name you know, the name you trust. GrandviewHomes.com.
When you need to sell quickly, choose Grandview to buy your home, even if it's less than perfect. Don't waste time and money on finding a real estate agent and dealing with showings. We'll buy your home completely as is. No repairs, not even a clean out. Grandview Homes gives you an offer in hours, and we close on the day you choose in as little as 10 days with no closing costs. Visit GrandviewHomes.com for your fair cash offer today. Grandview Homes, the fastest and easiest way to sell your home.
It's the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Steve Scafidi with an announcement of my next WTMJ listener trip. Love these. Fox World Travel has crafted a fantastic itinerary which has special significance for me and you. We'll be visiting the country of my people, yes, Sicily. And to make it even more interesting, we're adding the country of Malta. It's called Sicily and Malta Mosaic, and it's happening in October of 2025 next year. Sicily is a fascinating island with an interesting and unique history. We'll see ancient ruins, charming old towns, sparkling coastlines, archaeological sites, and Europe's tallest active volcano, Mount Etna. And then bonus, we'll head to beautiful Malta, one of the smallest and friendliest countries in the world. My wife Kathy and I would love to have you join us on this special WTMJ listener trip. We've done it before. They're always fun. Join us. To get more information or make a reservation, visit foxroadtravel.com or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Don't miss out on the early booking discount. Sicily and Malta Mosaic. Call today.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update. From the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk, we've got the Brewers and Rockies beginning a series tomorrow night, and you'll hear that game right here on WTMJ. Keep in mind an early start time, 4:35. Things are going to get going. Got the Packers game tomorrow night, so the Brewers moved their start time for tomorrow's game up a couple of hours. Meanwhile, the Packers are in Brazil. They will kick off against the Eagles at 7:15. The NFL season kicks off tonight with the Chiefs taking on the Baltimore Ravens.
Sounding Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 5:08.
This report is sponsored by All Right Home and Remodeling. If you want it done right, call All Right.
Quality roofing, siding, and window manufacturers offer extremely solid warranties.
But you have to make sure that the contractor you hire will outlast them and be there to support you. Right, Dad?
Hi, I'm Randy Miller from All Right Home and Remodeling. You can trust that our second generation,
third generation,
fourth generation,
family-owned company will be here for you and your children and their children.
and their children's children.
Learn more at ALLRITE remodeling.com.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scafidi, and I'm hosting another free webinar with our great partners at Annex Wealth Management. Join me and Director of Retirement Plan Services, Tom Parks, to review the best strategy when it comes to your financial future. We'll answer your questions on 401k planning, strategies to maximize your growth potential, and more. All you have to do is register. Text WEB, W-E-B, to the WTMJ Talk and Text line 855-616-1620 to prioritize your financial future. It's another free webinar from Annex Wealth Management and WTMJ.
Engagement rings, wedding bands, and big anniversary diamonds.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Amy Taylor.
Greg and Amy with you until 6 o'clock tonight. It's Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ. Always great to see you, my friend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being here with you.
Well, we are not in Brazil. The Packers are in Brazil. They touched down last night about 7:30, and there are conflicting conversations around the Packers and Eagles playing in Brazil. Number one, you've got the Green Bay Packers side of things. So Matt LaFleur is saying all the right things. Boy, what a great opportunity to be in Brazil. We are excited. Our team is excited.
This is a great stage to be on. We're going to be the only game on in the world, and you get to go do it in a place that's never been done before. So it's a great opportunity for our guys to go out there and show what they're all about.
Whether he believes that or not, he is saying the right things about an 11-hour flight to a foreign country where they're told not to leave the hotel. So
and why
so
are they
forth.
told not to leave the hotel? Or security concerns?
Just not terribly safe in that particular area of Sao Paulo. Meanwhile, you've got Darius Slay, who plays for the Philadelphia Eagles, saying,
"Man, I do not want to go to Brazil. You want to know why? They already told us not to leave the hotel. They told us we can't do too much going on because the crime rate is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, NFL, why y'all want to send us somewhere with the crime rate this high? And like, we out the country. I told my family, do not come down there because like, I'm not going to be nowhere to be found. Really, I'm going to be in a hotel chilling, minding my business."
Okay, so that is Darius Slay, who plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. There is also a player named Darius Slayton, who plays for the Giants. Now, he's catching strays from fans in Brazil saying, "Come on, what are you dogging Brazil for?"
Yeah.
So he's on Twitter or X saying, "I'm innocent, wrong guy."
Well, we also had a reporter on yesterday, Ferreira, that was Eric's buddy, who was talking about, what is he, an ESPN reporter or a blogger?
In Brazil? Yeah.
Yeah. And so Brandon was telling us, the producer, yes, that he was saying the crime rate's about the same as Detroit. Like in reality, he had some statistics, and but sure, I mean, listen, people could come here and say we got some real crazy going on.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
Right.
But I think the general thought process is if you're walking around the streets, you will likely stand out as an NFL player. Therefore, the assumption is you have money and you are a target. If
and
you're
right for the
around.
mugging, right?
You are walking around as a target. So Sao Paulo has heightened security for the first ever game in South America. Behind closed doors, players were also voicing concerns. Coaches were voicing concerns. They want to make sure their players and teams are taken to a safe area. So they had military police escorts. They had people at the airports.
Really
they had
intense.
an escort taking them to the hotel. They've got increased security at the hotel. They're sweeping the stadium.
I don't know.
Right?
Is this good for tourism for Sao Paulo? I mean, the look is really intense.
I don't know. And, you know, the NFL has had games in Mexico City before. And I don't know where Mexico City and Brazil rank in the world crime rankings.
I don't
right?
know where they do either, but I think the general sort of anecdotal evidence is that Mexico City can be quite rough. And I mean,
sure.
Yeah. I know a neighbor from here in Wisconsin whose daughter-in-law was killed there in a terrorist type of attack or gang attack.
Mexico is a tough thing to trust. It's
Yes.
a tough entity, tough
Right.
country to trust.
Difficult.
Now, I am saying this as I recount my own experience from being in London, where security was not really front and center. Players were out. Players were enjoying.
They were
Packers
mingling.
Fans were traveling.
Yeah.
And I had my cell phone yanked out of my hand by a guy dressed in all black riding an e-bike, and he sped away at 20 miles an hour with my iPhone in his hand.
Oh, like stole it.
Yes. I had my phone out. I was taking a small video. I was about 6 feet away from a line of Packers fans lined up at this Packers bar. Smile, everybody, wave, and wave it, hey, having a good time. And somebody comes out of, absolute nowhere.
That's so frightening.
Flying like a ninja on
Right.
an e-bike, and my phone was gone in a second.
So here's the thing: we can't get an iPhone. How is the suspect getting into an iPhone?
Well,
what do they do with them?
I was able to grab somebody's computer, and I was able to get into my account. I was able to shut everything down, which is great.
Good job.
I ended up going to the iStore in London. I got a new phone. It was not an easy process, but I did it. And then I was later able to trace my phone to a location just outside of London. I thought about going to get it, but I thought twice and said, you can't do anything with this other than sell just a general phone. There's no info on it. So I just let it be.
Can they get them
Wanted
open?
to show up and punch the guy in the face and take my phone back.
Well, you're lucky it wasn't, you weren't hurt. But I mean, can you actually get into those too? Like, what can a criminal do with an iPhone?
You can't do much. Apple's security is pretty top notch.
I mean, remember, if you're trying to get information in these trials, it's like a massive issue to bypass the security.
Yes. So, but nonetheless, so you want to talk about crime? It can happen anywhere. There's
totally happen
no doubt.
anywhere.
It can happen anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Packers, I think the Eagles are looking to mitigate risk at all costs. Stay in your hotel. Do the hotel thing. It's only for a couple of days. Just stay there. We'll get back to a normal schedule here in not too long.
So the concern was more kind of about like the potential for a robbery or that type of crime, not so much like a terrorist attack on the stadium. Is that?
Yeah, I think that's right.
The vibe you're getting? Yeah.
I think that's right. It's 5:15 on WTMJ. Charles Benson, TMJ4 chief political reporter, joins us in studio after this. President Biden in Wisconsin today. Former President Trump will be visiting soon. I would bet that Kamala Harris is coming back before too long, and we are 2 months away from the election. Charles, after this.
Hot dog, get your hot dogs here. Hot and fresh hot dogs.
Hot diggity dog, it's baseball season. Wisconsin's Afternoon News has partnered up with Vienna Beef to bring you Brewers Ticket Tuesday.
Tune in every Tuesday during the 3 o'clock hour for your chance to win a pair of tickets for an upcoming Tuesday home game for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Nothing says summer like a hot dog in baseball, and we've got both on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
On the home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Landworks, the locally owned landscape company. They'll elevate the look of your home or your business. They're doing that at our house. Landworks is different because of the customer service. I can tell you firsthand, from beginning to end, you have one person who's your initial point of contact all the way through the process. LandworksWisconsin.com. Get started today. They'll take your yard, make it more beautiful. They'll take your beautiful yard and elevate it even more. It's LandworksWisconsin.com. They do it the right way at Landworks.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Traffic sponsored by two men and a junk truck. Keep what you love and ditch what you don't.
From removing unwanted clutter or junk to full-service residential or commercial cleanouts, get a free same-day estimate at twomenandajuncktruck.com. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't.
Traffic and weather, let's check in with Debbie Lazaga at 517. Hi, Deb.
Hey there. We are still seeing some delays. Southbound 43, basically from Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette interchange and over the high-rise bridge. Stays heavy all the way down towards the KK River crossing. On northbound 43, backing up out of the Marquette all the way up towards North Avenue. Southbound 41, heavy from Appleton Avenue. Make that Silver Spring all the way down to Capitol Drive. Northbound's a little bit backed up between North Avenue and Burleigh. And then eastbound 94, got that pocket of heavy traffic through the construction zone just east of Meadowbrook Road to Highway 16, and then back on the brakes from 76th Street through the Stadium interchange. And be our eyes on the roads. You can report accidents, slowdowns, and road conditions to the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen traffic tip line at 414-238-9329. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Clouds starting to roll into downtown, down to 75 degrees. It could bring about some rain a little later tonight. Pretty widespread, but you might have a little pop of a thunderstorm popping up. Overnight low of 58, up to 68 tomorrow, under partly cloudy skies, a little breezy as well. 77, call it 75, and cloudy in Milwaukee at 519. Charles Benson is TMJ4's chief political reporter. Joins us every Thursday on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. 2 months away, Charles. 2 months away from the election. It is September 5th. The race is officially on.
It's hard to imagine. You know, I sort of tell this story that imagine decades from now, someone puts a book together about the 2024 election, okay? And you pick up this book and you start reading it in, chronological order, what happened in January, February, March. You're following along. You get to 4th of July and you're like, you know what? This sounds like the 2020 race, right? It's a redo. It's Trump against Biden again. And so you forward to Labor Day because Labor Day is sort of that final stretch, that final kick. And you just want to say, okay, let me see what happens from here. And you start reading. You're like, whoa, what just happened? Because those last 2 months, we have seen so many changes in this race. And it started with that presidential debate between Trump and Biden,
where we had unprecedented Biden stepping down, which is just an incredible thing. But we're still seeing the races so tight.
Yeah.
And another CNN poll showing Harris with a narrow lead in Wisconsin. Is it still within the margin of error, Charles?
Yeah. So this is the one part that I didn't see anything changing despite all the changes. So many people are locked in on their position on being a Democrat or Republican in this state. And so I didn't see a lot of shifting on, yes, there was concern about Biden and whether Biden had the ability to get across the finish line. But I thought even with the change, I still see Wisconsin as being a 1% state come election night.
So you've got President Biden in town today. President Trump scheduled to be in Wisconsin soon. I would imagine Kamala Harris is coming back before too long. It's going to be on repeat. I would think almost weekly somebody is going to be in here that's at the top of the ticket, either Republican or Democrat. How do you separate yourself in this race in a battleground state? Do these visits really help move the needle? Is it what you say, or is it your volume of appearances in strategic locations?
Right. So is it, the last person standing in Wisconsin wins Wisconsin, right? I mean, I've seen these things go all the way up to midnight before the election just to try to get that one final push. Having gone to so many of these rallies and events, it really is about the motivation factor. It's really exciting the person to make sure they have no doubt about going out to vote. People support a lot of their candidates, but sometimes just don't get to the voting place. I mean, I think people around Hillary Clinton in 2016 thought, oh, she's got this, right? They feel like there's this level of comfort or she's going to take Wisconsin. And so I think all campaigns are like, no, we want to make sure each side can get every last voter on their team to that election day or that in-person absentee voting or mail in that absentee ballot. And I think that's what you see here in these closing arguments all the time. That one sort of thing that may catch a voter just to say, not only am I going to go in there and cast the ballot for you, I'm going to make sure I tell other people who are close to me or who might be voting for you to make sure they vote.
You talked about how tight it is. What is the status of the undecided voter or the swing voter in Wisconsin now? I mean, you're saying people are really dug in. Is that what you're seeing here?
That's what I see. But, I'm curious how things, where do those 77,000 Nikki Haley voters go who in April, who knew she wasn't even a candidate anymore, said, I'll just vote as a protest vote to support Nikki Haley, which got them nothing except to say to Donald Trump, 70,000 voters didn't want to vote for you. Where were those uninstructed voters in April who didn't want to vote for Joe Biden to send a message, I don't like what's happening with the Israel-Gaza war and that situation? Where do those people come in on November 5th and say, all right, now I've got to make a choice because the vote does matter this time. And if you're voting for someone or staying away, then you've lost the impact to have an influence on this election. So that's where there are some, are they undecided or are they like, I just don't know if I'm going to vote?
Well, there are plenty of people in the state, too, Charles, who are just sort of frustrated with the two-party system.
Correct.
Right? Two-party tyranny is what it's commonly referred to. Mm-hmm. So maybe they would have cast a vote for RFK Jr. Who knows?
But he's
right?
still on the ballot.
He is still on the ballot. So I'm curious to see where this goes. If sometimes you can say a vote for Kennedy is really a vote against this person or for that person. But when you're talking about a state where it's such a slim margin.
That's what I'm saying.
Even a 10,000 votes could end up being everything.
Well, it was 20,000, right, in the last election.
Right. So just think, because I think we're going to have maybe around 3.1 million voters, maybe just north of that. So you're talking 1%. That's 30,000 votes. And the independents, the other parties, they're going to get a percentage of votes because it's, I would be surprised either if Harris or Trump get above 50%, given all the people that are on the ballot still. And, what does this Kennedy thing do, even though he says, I'm endorsing Trump and doesn't want to be on the ballot, but he's going to be on the ballot. So you're right. The margin is so thin that any one of these votes could have an impact.
The protest vote is kind of really a wild card in this situation, isn't it? Because I find myself in my own conversations saying, are you sure you want to do that? Because, you're going to have to live with somebody here,
Yeah, and there's also the U.S. Senate race, and so people will be looking at. There's not just the presidential race on the ballot, but you've got the U.S. Senate race, and what we often don't talk about is really these amazing races that are happening in 99 assembly districts after we redrew the maps, right? There could be a change in the assembly. There could be a change in the Senate. Waiting to see if it flips. Unlikely that we'll see it flip. But there's battles going on in every assembly district pretty much across the state of Wisconsin.
And Charles, before we let you go, how important is it that the top of the ticket makes a presence in Wisconsin or makes their presence felt versus J.D. Vance or Tim Walz? I
think everybody always likes to see the top of the ticket. They feel like that's sort of the team leader, the team captain, the team, the biggest motivator to get people out to vote.
Fascinating to watch. We're on the 2-month countdown to the election. It'll be November 5th, and who knows what'll come after that, right? We're not in the home stretch. I almost feel like this is only just beginning.
Well, it's hard to imagine after a very competitive year, but we are getting down to the final 2 months.
Chief Political Reporter for TMJ4 News, it's Charles Benson. Thank you, Charles.
You're welcome.
527 on WTMJ. News is next.
Hey, John Mercure here. I love Otto's Wine and Spirits. It makes me smile. Serving Milwaukee since 1945. It's where I buy my wine. It's where I buy my beer. It's where I buy my spirits. It's Otto's Wine and Spirits, employee-owned, friendly staff, 7 locations. They know what they're doing. They've got the best prices at Otto's. They've got the best selection. Open 7 days a week with several locations. Milwaukee, Menominee Falls, which is where I go. Elm Grove, Brown Deer, Cedarburg. It's Otto's Wine and Spirits. They are the real deal. Buy it at Otto's.
At Fleet Farm, we're proud to offer everything you need for everyday life. We're even prouder to offer it at the best prices guaranteed. Like Sprout Sweet Mix for livestock, on sale for $9.29. Or 2.5 gallons of diesel exhaust fluid, everyday low priced at $6.99. And if you happen to find a lower price, we'll match it. Any day, every day. Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life at the best prices guaranteed.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, a weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market and how it affects Wisconsin businesses and residents. Sponsored by the original Knowledge Broker, R&R Insurance. Joining us today is Jeff Salasinski, Vice President of Business Operations.
Thanks, Vince. Great to be here.
So, summertime storms continue, Jeff. We've had our share. Pretty big stretch here where it rained nearly every day. On some of those days, wind gusts damaged rooftops, trees uprooted. Seems like we're hearing more about the threat of tornadoes than ever before. And I know today's personal insurance pricing is driven by these weather events.
It sure is, Vince. Storms are a big component of today's insurance pricing models. It's also a good time to find out if you're properly insured, because you don't want to wait till after a loss to find out you've got a problem. It can strain your finances and in some cases can destroy you financially. Your home's value has increased recently, and the cost to repair or rebuild it has too. Chances are your limit of insurance is too low. Your premiums are up, your deductible's been increased, and in all likelihood, coverage for your roof has been pulled back or restricted.
So with all this happening, what role does the insurance agent play?
A true personal insurance professional is reaching out, sharing insights. You need a professional that understands these market dynamics, follows them closely, and keeps you informed and gives you options. R&R Insurance stays on top of these issues and will design a custom, personalized solution for you. And if you're working with an agent that can only sell insurance for one company, you're limiting competition for your account and you're going to pay higher premiums. As an independent insurance agency, we represent 20-plus companies. We understand how to present your account to the market and get multiple insurance companies to compete for your personal insurance business. Competition's a good thing.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Anti-Procrastination Officer Brian Wickert. Most homeowners and home shoppers have heard the Federal Reserve will cut rates by 0.25% in mid-September. Well, I have great news. When it comes to mortgage rates, it's like the cut has already happened. That's how markets work, and it means there's no reason to wait to either start or resume your home search, because most 30-year fixed-rate loan scenarios will now have a rate and APR that starts with the number 6 instead of 7-point-something. The already lower mortgage rates also mean the refi window of opportunity is open for folks who bought their homes earlier this year or late last year with a rate in the mid to high 7s. If you can save $1,000 a year in payments and spend less than that in refi loan cost, do it. AccuNet can also typically offer a genuine no loan cost refi, which makes lowering your payment a genuine no-brainer. Don't wait. Click on the blue button today for a no-pressure refi checkup or to get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval. That's ACCUNET.com.
If you're feeling vibrations in your steering wheel after reaching speeds of over 50 miles per hour, you should bring it into Richlands and let us fix it for you.
If your brakes are making weird noises or feel strange every time you apply them, you should bring it into Richlands and let us fix it for you.
If your engine light is on, you should bring it to Richlands
and let us fix it for you, because there isn't an auto service repair job on the planet that our service techs can't fix.
Courtney's right. Just check out some of our Google reviews. A whole lot of stars means a whole lot of happy customers.
Proof's in the pudding. So whether you need factory scheduled maintenance
or tires, brakes, and suspension service, we've got your back.
5 conveniently located facilities, all AAA approved,
and all staffed by ASE certified technicians. I'm Brett Matschke, and the next time you're due for service,
bring it into Richlands and let us fix it for you.
Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
I'm Greg Matzik in for John Mercure. Your top story, a body recovered from a Waukesha River.
I'm Amy Taylor in for Julia Fellow. A suspect and 3 officers are recovering from gunshot wounds.
I'm Debbie Lazaga, southbound on 41. We're seeing backups from just south of Appleton Avenue down past Capitol Drive. On southbound 43, slowing from North Avenue down through the Marquette, on and off the brakes here and there, all the way down towards the KK River. Northbound is backed up out of the Marquette all the way up towards Locust. Then we've also got westbound 94 from before the Marquette. It's going to be slowing down all the way to Hawley Road. The eastbound side is slow from about 76th Street through the Stadium Interchange. And while you're out navigating the roads as quickly and safely as possible, if you see something we should know about, call the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen traffic tip line at 414-238-9329. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Chance of showers tonight, mostly cloudy and breezy and a low of 58. Partly cloudy, breezy, cool on Friday with a high of just 68 degrees. It is 75 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 5:33. Investigating how the body of a dead man ended up in the Fox River. City of Waukesha Forestry personnel found the body about 9 o'clock this morning near Moreland Boulevard on the north side of the Riverwalk around Frame Park in Waukesha. Law enforcement says there were no obvious signs of trauma to the body. The deceased man was wearing shorts when recovered. Articles of clothing were found along the shore. The cause and manner of death of the man are still unknown.
3 officers recovering after being shot on Milwaukee's northwest side. It happened at the apartments near 21st and Custer around 10:15 this morning. Milwaukee police were trying to locate a man wanted on several felony charges. Officers tried communicating with the suspect. When he fired shots at them, they returned fire, and he eventually surrendered. 2 firearms with extended magazines were recovered. 3 officers have non-life-threatening injuries, and 4 more are on administrative duty for discharging a firearm. The 35-year-old suspect was arrested and taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
In the wake of a recent trend of youth using firearms to steal vehicles and other property around Milwaukee, Police Chief Jeffrey Norman sending a letter to the community this week. Chief Norman joined Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth to break down his call to action.
Well, the big thing is to not let us become numb to these reportings of what our young ones are doing in our community. I know that there's a lot of reporting going on locally, statewide, nationwide. I don't want anyone to get desensitized and think that this is just an everyday occurrence. Oh, it's just Milwaukee.
The letter calls on everyone, including youth organizations, legislatures, healthcare professionals, and parents especially, to address youth behavior.
And in Brown County, being charged with murder and a hate crime, Brown County investigators are referring the charges in the death of 19-year-old Micah Loriano. He was an inmate at the Green Bay Correctional Institution when he was found pulseless and not breathing in his cell on August 27th, just after 9:30 at night. His cellmate, 24-year-old Jackson Vogel, allegedly strangled him to death. Vogel remains in custody as that investigation continues.
Ever been arrested trying to take an animal from the zoo? 26-year-old Melanie Mabarizi is, or has been. She climbed over a pedestrian wall barrier at the Henry Vilas Zoo today, entering the African donkey enclosure. She touched the animal through the chain link fence and tried to take photos. When confronted by staff, she became angry, I assume Melanie, not the donkey, and hit staff before running around the zoo. Again, Melanie, not the donkey. Madison police arrested Mabarizi for disorderly conduct, citing her for trespassing. She has been banned from the zoo.
With the Packers set to play the Eagles in Sao Paulo, Brazil tomorrow, the South American country is looking forward to its moment in the NFL spotlight.
They are absolutely wildly excited.
A to Z Sports NFL columnist Wendell Ferreira is based out of Brazil, and he tells WTMJ fans from across his country are flying in for the game.
36 million people are estimated to be NFL fans here in Brazil. It's the 3rd largest NFL market in the world.
As for any concern about wearing green inside the venue, Ferreira says, it's just an issue for the local soccer team.
It's basically like saying that you can wear purple at Lambeau Field because the Vikings are the rivals of the Packers.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
The woman got arrested for running around the zoo, not the donkey. The donkey wasn't running around the zoo.
The donkey was fine. The donkey was uninjured.
No. The woman became angry and started running around the zoo. Wow.
In a strange twist of roles.
Tried to steal a donkey from a zoo.
Oh, what
in Madison.
possesses people?
The Packers begin the season Friday night against the Eagles in Brazil. No game for the Brewers today. They are off after dropping 2 of 3 to the Cardinals. Schedule picks up Friday afternoon against the Colorado Rockies.
Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 5:37.
WTMJ's Greg Matzik here for Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac, the destination for Wisconsin's best 2024 closeout sale. It's where to score deep closeout savings on favorites from Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC. Get more for your trade and discover car buying that makes fans of drivers from all over the Badger State. Fans like me. Fun, simple, and pressure-free car shopping is the way it works at Holiday. Their transparent, simplified pricing and buying approach lets you relax and focus on finding the one that's right for you, then pairing it up with enticing, money-saving incentives and offers to lower your bottom line. I've driven with Holiday a long time. The team culture, passion for excellence, and friendly, upbeat atmosphere is real. It wins fans and has earned them top-ranked status as Wisconsin's #1 Buick and GMC dealer per 2023 Buick and GMC Zone sales records. Find yours, discover the difference, and drive it home today from Holiday, Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC in Fond du Lac and online at holidaygm.com. It's worth the trip.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
Greg Matzik and Amy Taylor with you until 6 o'clock tonight. Boy, it was a nice sunny day. Got kind of warm, up to 81 here downtown, but now I see the clouds are rolling in. Will it bring about any rain? We welcome in TMJ4 Chief Meteorologist Brian Niznansky. Hey, Niz.
Yo, what's up, guys? I've been out at the Jackson Park Farmers Market. That's on the southwest side of town. Awesome farmers market. You got the traditional stuff, but then you have like some really good cheesecakes. There's like some Puerto Rican chicken operation going on. It's really good. We ended up getting hit by a little passing shower just about 45 minutes or so. That shower is now out over Lake Michigan, but it's a reminder to keep in mind this evening there is still like, I don't know, a 10 to 20% chance that another little scattered shower pops up and you land under it.
So it's arroz con pollo?
Oh, is that what it is? That's what's going on there.
Yeah. I mean, you said Puerto Rican chicken, so usually it has beans and rice. Did you have it?
I walked by it. I was more like blown away by like the giant spigot and how many chickens were on it, and
chickens.
It's pretty awesome. There was that. There's some different like honey vendors, some popcorn, different various popcorns, kettle corn type stuff, and it's just a lot of fun. And then looks like right now what's plentiful in the vegetables were the peppers. Saw a lot of potatoes. Tomatoes, of course, are still coming in strong. Starting to notice the zucchini backing off a little bit. That's more of like a midsummer thing, but still some zucchini to go around.
Yeah, anybody will tell you it's been a great year for arugula. Are you getting your basil on there, Niz?
I did not. I didn't check out the basil crop, but I got some going on at my house too. I planted my basil a little bit later this year. It's just the way it worked out. I'm hoping to squeeze out still a little bit of growth yet through September, but it's overall, I think overall, like whether you have your own home garden or the farmers, it's been a pretty good growing season.
I think the tomatoes were a little tough. I'm just putting it out there. The tomatoes were slow to start, and then, I don't know, I kind of feel like if you don't get it, you miss it. Now it's like that's over because it's been cold at night.
There's tornadoes. There's not tornadoes, tomatoes. Tomato tornado, saying all right. Tomatoes can be a little tricky, especially when it comes to watering. Like if there's ever a time when they get too much water, that's when you start to build some of your like different little squishy spots, and they start to look kind of weird.
And it was wet. It was wet earlier in the summer, wasn't it? Yeah.
And that could do it for sure. Definitely can do it. So yeah. I mean, there's definitely been some ups and downs with that, but.
And it's cold at night, and what's going on? Is fall here? Is that it?
Yeah. No, it's not. Like this, in fact, this little fall snap that we're going to talk about here in the next couple of days is going to be short-lived.
Oh, good.
We have what looks like a big-time summer stretch next week that really lasts for the foreseeable future. So summer's not going away.
Oh, so glad to hear
Liz,
that.
you mentioned a stray shower. Is that what we're looking at throughout the course of the night, or is it more of a defined band or line of storms moving
So there
in?
was a line of storms that actually set up west of us earlier today, and it really fizzled out as it entered southern Wisconsin. I think if anything, what we're looking at, if anything redevelops, we are losing the heating of the day. We're losing a couple other components to this. If anything redevelops, we're looking at probably just some standard light shower activity, at most a rumble of thunder, and even at that, I'd be shocked. So forecast heading into tonight, eventually we cool down to a low of 58 degrees. The second cold front pushes through late tonight, and that's going to cool things down. Now, as we head into tomorrow, we're going to top out maybe around 64, 65 degrees, so definitely an autumn-like feel, breezy, and also a chance of a stray shower tomorrow. Now, as we head into Saturday, lots of sunshine, still breezy, and highs only in the 60s. Sunday, we're back up to 73 with a lot of sunshine, and then Monday, mostly sunny and a high of 80 degrees, and we continue to go up from there next week.
Good stuff, Nez. Appreciate it. Enjoy your time out there. Grab some basil and a pumpkin pie. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Okay, Greg. See ya. Bye.
5:43 in WTMJ. It really was a great year for arugula. I mean, just great.
Are you being serious?
Peppery. It had that
Look me in the
snap
eye
to
and
it.
say that. Are you serious?
It's a great year for arugula.
Okay, I love arugula, but I don't know if I believe you yet.
I don't know if I believe that either.
Okay, then. Thank you for cluing me in.
5:43.
Tony Drake here from Drake & Associates. Big news. Our retirement-ready radio show is moving to a new time slot. Catch us at noon every Saturday. At Drake & Associates, we craft tailor-made plans that not only meet your financial needs, but align seamlessly with your unique lifestyle. Tune in at noon on Saturdays and get retirement ready.
Drake & Associates, LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates, LLC does not provide legal or tax advice.
Hi, I'm Jordan Miller, third-generation owner of All Right. If your home was damaged by the recent storm, be wary of out-of-town contractors, aka storm chasers. These crews follow the radar, flock to areas with hail, wind, and even tornado damage. Then help homeowners file insurance claims, make a profit, and hit the road. It is crucial you find a local company. Learn more at ALLRITE remodeling.com.
All right, home and remodeling.
WTMJ's Julia Fellow here for Just Between Friends, Milwaukee County. I wanted to give you a heads up about the best sale for gently used children and teen items. We're talking about up to 90% off the retail price. It's happening Thursday, September 19th through Sunday, September 22nd, right at the Wisconsin State Fair's Exposition Center on Greenfield Avenue. Just head to milwaukeecounty.jbfsale.com to learn more. That's milwaukeecounty.jbfsale.com.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Save now during the Labor Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. Special factory incentives make this the perfect time to save 35% on a new sofa, chair, or sectional crafted by Norwalk Furniture. American made with your choice of fabric or leather in a style and size to fit your need. Available in as little as 35 days. Can't wait? All our inventory is sale priced and ready for immediate delivery. Shop today and save during the Labor Day sale at any of our Ken Michaels Furniture stores in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee. There's no doubt that a better night's sleep makes for better days, and a good quality mattress helps make it happen. When you buy your new Milwaukee mattress from Ken Michaels Furniture, you are assured of a mattress made for your needs out of the finest natural materials direct from our Milwaukee factory. We make every style, size, and firmness of mattress, and with our factory direct prices, you will save up to 50% compared to other brands. Milwaukee mattresses from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Traffic sponsored by Flanners Home Entertainment. Flanners.com. Just press play. Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanners Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanners. Just press play. Traffic and weather. It's 5:46 in WTMJ. We're in the thick of it here. Let's check in with Debbie Lonziga.
All right, well, we're wrapping things up a little bit smoothly right now. Southbound 43 is looking a lot better right now, all the way down from Brown Deer Road into the Marquette. That's where it starts to slow down a little bit, coming over the high-rise bridge and just in a couple pockets right past the KK River. On the northbound side, that's a different story. We do have more delays out of the Marquette, stretching all the way up towards Locust. Westbound 94 is a bit heavy out of the Marquette out to Mitchell Boulevard. Once you get past that, though, you're good to go all the way into Waukesha County. On the eastbound side, we've got delays from just east of 84th Street all the way through to just about to 35th Street. Then it looks good into the Marquette. Southbound 41, still a bit heavy from before Hampton Avenue down past Capitol Drive, almost to Burleigh. Northbound side's cleared up nicely, though, so we're in better shape there. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
14-year-old Colt Gray will be tried as an adult after killing 4 people at Appalachia High School Wednesday afternoon. 2 school resource officers helped bring Gray into custody. Officials believe the situation would have been much worse had it not been for the swift action of officers Tanner Good and Brandon King. Meanwhile, it becomes a simmering controversy here at MPS where resource officers were supposed to have been in place per the law as of January 1st, 2024. To date, they are not in MPS halls, and there's really no clear end in sight, no resolution on that, anywhere near a resolution on that. Maybe later this fall, maybe sometime by winter. It does bring up a bigger discussion. Should they be everywhere in Wisconsin public schools or private? I'd like to welcome in State Representative Bob Donovan, public servant. You've had health and safety on your mind, really going back to your time serving the Milwaukee Common Council, then as alderman, Bob. You look at the situation, let's start specifically with MPS. They're kind of dragging their heels on this. The design of resource officers is to keep a place safe and also connect with the community. And these are 2 things that aren't really happening right now with MPS.
Well, you hit it right on the head. It is very frustrating to me that they have really dragged their feet here. They've had well over a year since the agreement was reached and passed to implement something that had been implemented years ago in MPS. We're not in new territory here. They've had resource officers in the past. Matter of fact, well over a year ago, Chief Norman indicated to me that they're ready and they have officers that could go in the schools, some of them previous resource officers that could be assigned to schools. So to me, it's just very frustrating and sadly indicative of the ongoing dysfunction and chaos that we see in a variety of fronts relating to MPS.
So this is not a funding issue. You're saying, and you're saying the police have the officers ready to go.
The police have the officers ready to go. The arrangement that was arrived at in the negotiations was basically the city would pay half and the MPS would pay half, which was the case previously. Now, that pays their salaries, basically, for those officers assigned there. So to me, with all the money that MPS has gotten over the years, that's a non-issue, paying these officers. They're dragging their feet, in my opinion, for other reasons. I don't know quite what they might be.
Do you have a suspicion?
They should have. Well, I think the officers were removed from the schools following the Floyd tragedy in Minneapolis, and there was a great deal of negative press relating to the police. I think that has something to do with it. I think there's a concern among some what the role of the officer might be in the school. I look at it as common sense. I look at it as the old beat cop. The foot patrol officer, instead of protecting a neighborhood, is protecting a school. And instead of getting to know the residents in the neighborhood, they're getting to know the students. And the students are getting to know them. And that can make a world of difference. The sharing of information, the trust that's built up, it can go a long way in diffusing small concerns before they become full-blown problems. And to have that officer on site I think is just so important, most especially this day and age. And heaven forbid, if a tragedy were to occur and someone with a gun, doesn't it make sense to have someone in that school, a trained professional officer, armed, that can deal with that? Seconds matter in times like this.
The officers in Georgia were properly trained. Tanner Good and Brandon King, de-escalators. They helped control a tragedy, right? A tragic event in a Georgia high school could have been much worse if there weren't resource officers. We're using MPS as an example because they're breaking the law, quite frankly. But it opens up a larger question here, Bob. Does it make sense for resource officers to be available urban, suburban, from Sussex Hamilton to MPS to Heartland Arrowhead? Because you never know when a gun might get into the wrong hands of a sick teenager.
Well, you're absolutely right, and I certainly wouldn't be opposed to that in any sense. Having said that, most of schools around the country, at least the larger high schools and so on, many have employed school resource officers for years. As I said, MPS did years ago. But yes, I would agree with you. And I think, too, the police community relations, the student police officer relations, that's an important relationship to develop. And I think these officers, the right officer doing that job, can make a world of difference in a school. So I look at it as a very, very positive step. And other people apparently don't.
Yeah, MPS has said they're doing research to try and figure out what the role of a resource officer in today's climate should be, looking at other cities and other districts. That's fine if you want to kind of update the job requirements, but it's something that should have been done nearly a year ago. State Representative Bob Donovan, appreciate your time today, Bob. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, you bet, guys. Thank you.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
The hotel plan near Brady Street is finally moving forward. Over a year after receiving city approval, a raise permit has been filed, though it is unclear when demolition might start. A prominent downtown Milwaukee office building and gym have been sold for $17 million to a Chicago area investor. The city center building was purchased by E.A. Staples & Associates, who plan to continue leasing the office space and convert the gym into an athletic and social club. Waukesha Bakery Mama Ducky's Desserts is on the move. The downtown business says it is relocating to the former home of Pat's Rib Place. I'm Drew Dawson with MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on News Radio WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
This report sponsored by the Pfister Hotel. Make your reservations today. Visit thepfisterhotel.com.
For over 130 years, the Pfister Hotel in downtown Milwaukee has been delighting guests with impeccable service and luxurious accommodations. Celebrate your next special occasion with a stay at the Pfister. Enjoy fine dining at its acclaimed restaurants and pamper yourself with a service from the Wells Spa and Salon. Experience the hotel's afternoon tea program or take in live music with the best views of the city from Blue, the 23rd floor cocktail lounge. Make your reservations today at thepfisterhotel.com.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely baseball season. This is your place to catch every pitch.
Here it is. He struck him out swinging.
Home run.
Going back onto the track. It is gone. Mike Brasso goes deep.
And everything in between.
I want to find that tape. We got to find that tape. We'd be better off listening to adhesive tape.
We are the home of the Brewers on WTMJ.
Milwaukee PBS Fest, with great concerts and specials this week, including Joe Bonamassa and Orchestra on All Creatures Great and Small Special, and Revival 69, that concert that rocked the world. Tonight at 7 on Channel 10, heartwarming moments and tasty advice with Jerry Apps, food and memories. Milwaukee PBS Fest, concerts and specials just for you, now playing on Channels 10 and 36, Milwaukee PBS.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love my dogs. Bella and Baxter, an important part of our family. They're kind of like kids sometimes. And like kids, they weren't always listening, but I've got it figured out now. Thanks to Matt and his teams at Sit Means Sit Dog Training, our dogs are better behaved. They don't bark as much. They just listen better. They're happy, confident, obedient. Our house is a better house. Sit Means Sit Dog Training turned it around for us. Let them do the same for you. You can start with a free consultation. The website is sitmeansitwaukesha.com. Sitmeansitwaukesha.com.
Miss any of the truth on WTMJ?
I'm representing the bull.
Maybe there's something wrong with me.
Catch the podcast wherever you get your podcasts and catch up on moments like this.
John, if you wanted to come on the show, all you had to do, you didn't have to make Biden quit to come on the show.
And listen to The Truth on WTMJ every Sunday from 7 until 9 with Dr. Ken Harris and Denise Thomas, right here on 620 WTMJ.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Steve Scafidi. Right now, receive 0% financing for 60 months. That is 5 years. Restrictions apply. Tell them I sent you and get an additional $250 off your project for the last windows you'll ever need. Go to UWD.com.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
At Semperfi Roofing and Exteriors, we have finance options for new exterior remodeling projects for almost anybody. And if you have the right credit, we'll beat your bank's rate.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
The place to get caught up, to speak out, to connect and be entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 5:59, it's 76 degrees. Tonight we have a slight chance for showers, otherwise mostly cloudy and breezy, a low of 58. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Jessica Gatso. 3 officers are recovering after being shot on Milwaukee's northwest side. The incident happened Thursday morning at the apartments near 91st and Custer around 10:15 a.m. Officers tried to find a man wanted on several felony charges. The suspect fired shots at the officers, who returned fire. Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman on how the officers are doing.
So I talked to one. There's a number of different, hospitals I had to go to, unfortunately, but he's in, relatively good spirits. I know that definitely these are individuals who are really professionals in my eyes of being able to, step up to the plate. But I am going to be checking on all of my officers in regards to this incident.
The 35-year-old suspect was injured as well. He surrendered and was arrested. More years behind bars for the man responsible for the Waukesha Christmas parade tragedy. 42-year-old Daryl Brooks was sentenced to an additional 9 years in prison for second-degree recklessly endangering safety and intimidating a victim. He pled no contest to both felonies in May. The counts stem from a November 2021 incident where Brooks threatened, punched, and then drove over the leg of his then-girlfriend at a Milwaukee gas station. The Milwaukee County judge and how the sentences would be served.
Those counts will be consecutive to one another because they were decisions made on different days. You made volitional decisions to engage in that behavior on separate days.
The crimes were committed days before the 2021 Waukesha Christmas parade, where Brooks drove his SUV into the crowd, killing 6 people. He's serving 6 life sentences for those deaths. A train employee dies after an accident in Kenosha. The Kenosha Police Department confirmed that 34-year-old Austin Scott Raisby of Burlington died after being hit by a Metra train on Wednesday. Raisby was an employee of Union Pacific Railroad. Metra officials say that trains will only operate between Chicago and Waukegan, with no stops in Kenosha, Winthrop Harbor, or Union until further notice. The investigation is ongoing. Construction begins this fall on the City of Milwaukee's latest effort to curb reckless driving on North Avenue.
Milwaukee City Engineer Kevin Muse and 3rd District Alderman Jonathan Brostoff educating the masses on the upcoming North Avenue rework on the city's east side.
Most of the feedback, once people have realized that it's not we're tearing up the road for 12 months, has been positive.
Safer streets for everybody, benefit everybody.
Alderman Brostoff says the impact of the project reaches beyond just cyclists and pedestrians.
People who have mobility challenges and skateboarders, people on scooters.
On Milwaukee's east side, Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Much of the construction is expected to be completed by November. Another Milwaukee street rework is receiving a big boost from the federal government. The city has received $25 million from the bipartisan infrastructure law to support the reconstruction of Center Street. Additionally, over $8 million is being allocated for a bicycle and pedestrian bridge over I-41 in Oshkosh. Wisconsin also just received over $1 million for 2 safety planning and demonstration projects. New concrete barriers have gone up at the Holt Avenue Park and Ride in an attempt to stop people from living in the parking lot. TMJ4's Megan Lee.
For people like Tracy Bennett, she started calling this place home in July.
This isn't a joyride. This isn't something we expected, we planned on.
When did they put these out here?
Just a few weeks ago.
A spokesperson for the Wisconsin Department of Transportation says this is the latest measure to get people to vacate the park and ride.
You know, and next week they'll come and push them a little bit farther, and then come and push them a little bit farther until there's no place to go.
The DOT says they're working on other ways to return the park and ride lots to their intended use. Financial help for driver's license. Wisconsin's new driver education grant program provides funds to low-income students for driver education classes. Tuition for the classes will be paid directly to the driving schools for those students. The funding comes from bipartisan legislation signed in December 2023 to reduce racial and economic disparities around getting a driver's license. The licensors are not only for driving, but also for voting. Wisconsin requires youth between 15 and 18 to enroll in a school or commercial driving program as a condition to get a learner's permit and probationary license. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 6:04.
This report sponsored by Mr. Holland's Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit MrHollandsHeatingandAir.com.
If the first thing on your to-do list is to start a to-do list, if the snooze button has fallen off your alarm clock, or if your favorite day is tomorrow, you're a procrastinator. And your friends at Mr. Holland's Home Services remind you that cold weather is fast approaching. Is your furnace ready for frigid days and frosty nights? Yes, we know you're not thinking about winter when it's still on the warm side. But let's face it, planning ahead isn't one of your superpowers. So just take a quick minute to call Mr. Holland's and secure a brand new, high-efficiency heating and cooling system today. You may even qualify for payments as low as $69 a month with approved credit. You'll be set for winter, and you'll finally have time to read that book on how to stop procrastinating that you bought in 2016. 866-992-1717. Or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. Tired of being put off by the cold? We can help.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Steve Scafidi with an announcement about my next WTMJ listener trip. Love these. Fox World Travel has crafted a fantastic itinerary which has special significance for me and you. We'll be visiting the country of my people, yes, Sicily. And to make it even more interesting, we're adding the country of Malta. It's called Sicily and Malta Mosaic, and it's happening in October of 2025 next year. Sicily is a fascinating island with an interesting and unique history. We'll see ancient ruins, charming old towns, sparkling coastlines, archaeological sites, and Europe's tallest active volcano, Mount Etna. And then bonus, we'll head to beautiful Malta, one of the smallest and friendliest countries in the world. My wife Kathy and I would love to have you join us on this special WTMJ listener trip. We've done it before. They're always fun. Join us. To get more information or make a reservation, visit foxworldtravel.com or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Don't miss out on the early booking discount. Sicily and Malta Mosaic. Call today.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The NFL season begins tonight in Kansas City with the Chiefs hosting the Baltimore Ravens. The Packers begin the season Friday night against the Eagles in Brazil. The Brewers enjoy a day off after dropping 2 of 3 to the Cardinals. The schedule resumes Friday afternoon against the Colorado Rockies.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Looks like the worst of the delays lingering this evening are along 43 northbound. Those start downtown and continue past Burleigh. Also looking at just a little bit of a delay still lingering on 94 westbound. That's going to be right around 35th Street.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
While you're navigating the roads as quickly and safely as possible, if you see something we should know about, call the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen Traffic Tip Line, 414-238-9329.
Taking a look at your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight we've got a slight chance for showers, mostly cloudy and breezy, a low of 58. On Friday, partly cloudy and breezy. We've got another slight chance for showers, a high of 68. Saturday, partly cloudy and still cool. We've got a high of 65. On Sunday, the sunshine returns. We'll see mostly sunny skies with a high of 73. Monday, sunny and warm again with a high of 80. Right now in Madison, it's 71 degrees. In Green Bay, it's 68. In Waukesha, it's 73. And in Milwaukee, it's 76 degrees. I'm Jessica Gatso, Siding Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 6:08.
Your need-to-know cultural snapshot of Wisconsin and beyond. This is What's on Tap with Sandy Max. A deep dive into all things intriguing, riveting, and entertaining. Now, here's your host, Sandy Max.
Hello! I really wanted to be with you yesterday evening on September 4th. It is an important date in Milwaukee music history because on September 4th, 1964, Beatlemania arrived in town. The Beatles performed at the Milwaukee Arena to thousands of fans who basically drowned out the music with their shattering screaming. But what a sensation. What a time for this city. Parents trying to get tickets for their kids lining up. You got to think about the shuttling now that goes on for soccer games and extracurricular activities. Think about all the drop-offs and how you coordinated. This is way before cell phones, and just the energy and excitement of having the Beatles in Milwaukee. I love that we can celebrate that because we're the envy of other cities. And this is the 60th anniversary of several Beatles milestones, like their TV performance on The Ed Sullivan Show, which completely amplified them as a sensation. And September 4th, though, boy, that's special to have Milwaukee as one of 24 American cities that the Fab Four visited. You know there are other cities that would have loved to have had that experience. And I went to Marquette University, and there's a dorm called Mashuda Hall on Marquette's campus. Well, 1964, Mashuda Hall was a hotel, and that is the hotel that the Beatles stayed at. And believe me, Marquette is proud of that too. So it's super fun to look back and know that Milwaukee is part of Beatles history and vice versa. The Beatles are part of Milwaukee history. So even though tonight is not September 4th, it was yesterday, I still think a bit of Beatlemania tonight is a very good thing. And you are welcome to join in and get in touch and share your Beatles memories. You can always pop me a note. Sandy@WTMJ.com is my email. I'm a big music fan. I always like to share music memories. Tonight, you will hear what it's like to devote your career to the Beatles by being Milwaukee's premier Beatles tribute band in a conversation with the Britons. You will hear a Beatles tune with Milwaukee's significance in the song you need to hear and get an intelligent perspective on why 1964 was the right year for the Beatles to bring their mop-top joy and energy from pop culture historian Dr. Diana Belskamper. Let me take you to a Liverpool landmark from my WTMJ Beatles and Beyond trip to England with a great group of Beatles fans last fall. I'm going to bring you the sounds and stories of Strawberry Field. Yes, that Strawberry Field that the Beatles sang about. Also, not from Liverpool, but from Manchester, Peter Noone of Herman's Hermits. Remember he was here a couple weeks ago performing at the Wisconsin State Fair? Well, Peter Noone has a John Lennon story to share. And in non-Beatles news, There is a wonderful free festival that you should know about on Saturday called Wildflowers on the Water at Lakeshore State Park. You will hear a powerful poem about Lake Michigan by local spoken word artist Kevon Cortez Jones. Now back to our Wisconsin Beatles connections. Not only did they play at the Milwaukee Arena in 1964, the Koss Corporation created official Beatles headphones in 1966, and they're super collectible, very rare. Come with me on an impressive tour of world-renowned Koss Corporation headphone technology on my quest to find the Beatle phones. Next on What's on Tap.
The biggest names in the basketball world.
Dame Dollar Lillard.
Having fun and honest conversations.
He puts it in the shoe, right? And sets the tone for brothers and sisters and family.
Every week, Thanasis Adetokounmpo sits down with special guests on Thanalysis Show. Presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel and curbless, ready-to-drink cocktails.
Fantastic.
Find Thanalysis Show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on YouTube by searching Thanalysis Show.
Hi, WTMJ's Sandy Max here to tell you about my friends at 3 Pillars in Dousman, the top-rated senior community in the state. They're building a one-of-a-kind active adult community, The Fields at 3 Pillars, on their 300-acre campus in Lake Country, and it's opening in 2025. Attend an upcoming info session and get a free lunch. Tour the campus, check out all the high-end finishes going into the Fields, and learn more about their expansion. Get all the info at 3pillars.org or call 262-965-3404 today.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at WIPGA.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Lazaga for Comfort Awnings. You've heard me talk about the wonderful new retractable awning the team at Comfort Awnings installed at my home. Now I can have all the cookouts and get-togethers in my backyard with some extra shade and relaxation for my guests. Comfort Awnings is a local family-owned company in Burlington that provides expert installation in southeast Wisconsin and northern Illinois. Now until the end of September, you can receive $250 off any awning or screen. Call 414-AWNINGS or visit comfortawnings.com to learn more.
You're listening to What's on Tap with Sandy Max on WTMJ.
I'm on a quest to see the elusive and official Beatle phones made in 1966 by Milwaukee's Koss Corporation, and I'm in the lobby with my inside tour guide.
Hey, I'm Martin Moore. I am the marketing manager at Koss Headphones, and I'm here with Sandy, and we're taking a look at the Beatle phone.
You have them wonderfully displayed with several other classic Koss headphone headsets.
A lot of people don't realize that every headphone that you've ever used that has a left and a right, Koss invented the stereo headphone here in Milwaukee in 1958. That's the original one.
As a huge music fan, thank you, John Koss.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. This is a huge one, the Pro 4 AA. This was really the beginning of like the modern headphone. These are still huge in broadcasting.
They are big. They're like what we call cans.
Yes.
They're substantial, but introduced in 1970.
Here's another big milestone, the HV1A, 1974. This was the first headphone where it could reproduce all 10 audible octaves. So human beings can only hear 10 octaves. And so this was the first headphone that introduced that. Before that, you weren't getting the full range of octaves.
That's a game changer in music production, from classical music to rock music.
Because, violins and piccolos and instruments with higher octaves are going to stand out more. Things with basses like cellos and tubas and stuff obviously sounded much, much better with that.
So when you walk into Koss's welcoming lobby, once you get past the security, it must be inspiring to see all of these headphones on display as a reminder.
The JCK 300, one of the first wireless headphones, 1989. Electrostatic, we were one of the first, or maybe the first, to introduce electrostatic headphones, which these sound incredible. They're just more high-powered.
Electrostatic.
Obviously, the Koss Porta Pro, our biggest seller. We've been selling it for over 40 years. This is the 40-year anniversary, and this thing is just one of the best-sounding headphones you'll ever find.
They look so minimal. They look like your old Walkman headphones.
They have stood the test of time. And then there's even more.
Second level, even more headphones.
One of these, this was the Cobalt. This was Bluetooth, and I believe you could store music on it, like MP3s. We were one of the first to do that.
Always on the technological edge, like you say, with MP3s and wireless.
Back in 2012, we came out with Striva, which was like one of the first true wireless headphones. So like you could like tap them, and this was before like any of the new true wireless AirPods. We were one of the first with that.
It's exciting. We keep talking about a tech hub and a tech corridor along I-94, and a lot of us forget that there's so much technologically going on right here on Port Washington Road.
Just a lot of history and just a ton of innovation, and we're very prideful in that we continue to sort of push the bar as far as audio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Beetle phone, though.
Okay.
Let's go take a peek at that. That's what you're here for.
I know. Okay. So we got distracted by all the forward-thinking technology it costs. Next, the blue-colored Beatles headphones. Details about them and learn just how valuable they are. Get this rare access with What's on Tap next.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Check out Experience Wisconsin. It runs Saturdays at 1. We spin you around the state, show you some cool stuff, introduce you to some cool people. This week, it's Hayward.
Fall is a special time in the Northwoods up here with the changing of the seasons. Hiking and biking, there's a large variety of paved, gravel, and mountain bike trails between the Hayward and Cable areas.
It's the town of Brookfield, and it's downtown Milwaukee. It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturday at 1 right here on 620 WTMJ.
You wake up feeling like you just boxed 12 rounds. Some wake up sweating with sore jaws, headaches, and a lot of our patients complain of brain fog. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and these signs, often joined with snoring, are sleep apnea symptoms. And if this sounds like you may have been in a struggle last night between you and this serious disorder. Many people aren't willing to fight back. But the fact is, you can't go through these nightly struggles without ramifications that each night chip away at your life's expiration date. I get it. You don't want to wear a CPAP mask. You may find out you don't need one. We have every effective sleep apnea solution available. And believe me, the mask is the last resort.
Solving your breathing triangle problem can lead to better sleep and a better quality of life. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Hey, John Mercure here from my friends at Dave Drake Camp Heating. They know our climate is all over the place. This means your home comfort system gets quite the workout. Constant adjustments need to be made to adapt to our volatile weather. Wisconsin prepares you to be ready for anything because anything happens. Fear not, because for over 42 years, my friends at Dave Drake Camp Heating have lived here too, right by your side, ready and prepared for when anything happens. Spring, summer, fall, winter, even when they all seem to happen within the same week. Whether you're experiencing your next home comfort dilemma now or will be soon, call Dave Drake Camp Heating for free estimates on new equipment, routine maintenance, or just to ensure your system is ready for anything, or maybe because you have a simple question about your home comfort. Call Dave Drake Camp today. 262-367-2820. That's 262-367-2820. Dave Drake Camp Heating, your comfort is their family's tradition. DaveDrakeCamp.com.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, you can always find the best brands at the best prices. But for a limited time only, we're offering our lowest prices of the year throughout the store. Like 50-pound bags of Diamond Crystal Bright and Soft softener pellets, just $5.99. More than half off Yellow Jacket 50-foot extension cords, only $29.99. And buy early and get $150 instant savings on a 28-inch Cub Cadet dual-stage snow thrower. Don't miss your chance to get our lowest prices of the year, only at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
This is What's on Tap with Sandy Max.
When I hosted my WTMJ Beatles and Beyond trip to England last fall, to Liverpool and London, traveled with a great group of Beatles fans, and I learned from travel mate John Campbell that Milwaukee's Koss Corporation created the official Beatles headphones in 1966. Brace yourself for what Beatles phones are worth. Back inside the lobby display area with Koss's Martin Moore. I could see them immediately because they're bright blue, and on each headphone, on one side you have these graphic stickers.
You have Paul and Ringo, and then you have John and George. And they're in really good condition, too, considering these are, 50 years old? But they didn't sell well. They did not well. And so I think Koss reconfigured them into the K6, which was a really, really popular one, changed the color and just updated some stuff.
See, this conflicts with the bit of research that I've done, that according to some sources that follow Beatles merchandise. There were several books.
Sure.
It's sold out globally and is one of the most coveted Fab Four merchandise memorabilia.
Really?
Yeah.
I've always heard that they didn't do well. Maybe we just didn't produce a lot of them, and what we did produce sold out, but there wasn't like a huge demand after that. That would be a great question for Michael Koss Sr. He would definitely know a little bit more of the history on that.
The Beatle phones are on a white column under plexiglass like the other vintage Koss headphones on display. Martin reads a bit of the plaque underneath the Beatle phones.
It was not as popular as John, Paul, George, and Ringo, and the Beatle phone became one of the most company's significant commercial flops. Koss recognized the problem and reconfigured the product into the K6 with a simple change in color and removal of the Beatles reference. The product went on to become one of the most company's biggest sellers. So, great headphone. I don't know why they didn't. Well, when did they first play on Ed Sullivan and became popular in the United States?
1964, and it was September 4th, 1964, that Milwaukee was one of 24 cities that got the Beatles.
Okay. It was only a couple of years after, so they would have been huge in the United States.
Absolutely.
I don't know why.
Interesting. So, yeah.
I would have loved it.
But the marketing piece said, hefty sound for those who want to hear it, quiet for those who don't, even in the very same room, making the point that headphones weren't a thing then. Like, this really was forward technology.
It really was. And the whole idea of personal portable audio is something that, Koss is complete. The foundation of us as a company is predicated on that. The whole reason why the SP3 was made was not to make a headphone. John C. Koss invented a record player. Because back in the day, you wanted to listen to a record, you had to annoy your parents and play it in the living room. So he came up with this record player. It was small, you could put it in your room, and then design these headphones as sort of an accessory that you would plug in, and then you could listen to the record in your room or wherever it was. And so he went to an audio show, showed off the record player. No one cared about the record player. They cared about the headphones because they were the first pair of stereo headphones, and that's how that took off. And so, every one of these headphones is sort of an iteration of just like personal audio.
I would want to dig a little bit more because, like you said, it says the company's most significant commercial flop. It's so strange to be associated with the Beatles on that, but it was supposedly mono speakers.
On these?
On these.
No, there's no way.
It was described as blue plastic adjustable headband, mono speakers, had a full-color Beatle illustrated graphic sticker on each earphone. Warranty card read, use the Beatles' own listening system.
The plug is stereo.
Okay, good. All right, so definitely not mono.
And there's no way the company who invented the stereo headphone would come up with a mono pair of headphones.
But if you think about how the Beatles' music was created, if you listen to them in stereo, it can be kind of an experience.
Really?
Yeah. So supposedly the first set of signature headphones ever sold on the market. In 1966, these sold for $29.99.
Okay.
In 2024, that would cost $279.74.
That's not bad.
But in 1966, if you're a teenager, your parents are not buying you $300 headphones.
And that's the thing, too, is, a lot of people forget, like Elvis, when the Beatles came out, they were sort of, rock and roll was controversial to, the greatest generation. And so having kids be like, hey, will you buy me these $29 headphones? That was probably hard because that was their target audience, was teenagers and young adults. And so if you don't have that kind of money, you're banking on mom and dad to buy them. So, you said they sold really well and sold out, but...
Well, we both have to do more research on
that.
But
if
I wonder how many were originally produced.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna get you the answers to that.
But there are just... I want a pair now. They're the bright blue, and then if you look up close on the end of the ear cup, it's got a B and a B on it. It's like a forwards B and a backwards B. Probably some sort of Beatles marketing. Do you know who designed the box cover?
No. I don't even know what the box cover looks like.
Oh, well, you can look that up online.
I'll Google that.
And you could eBay, you can buy one right now, just the box, for $49.
On eBay?
And then here's the other thing. I told you about WTMJ fan John Campbell, who traveled with me on the Beatles trip. He had looked into this, and he said, hey, since you're going to go worship the Beatle phones at Koss, on eBay, I found a pair for $4,777. Martin, I looked yesterday. They were sold.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. So somebody somewhere
I mean, think about it. Where else are you going to find one? I mean, there's probably not a lot floating around, and ones that are probably like this in someone's house or museum.
And that's how coveted the blue Beetle phones that cost me. Yeah, it should.
I mean, you're probably one of the few people that have seen one in person like this now. I mean, I don't know where else you would see one unless you owned one. That's wild. That's wild.
I'm glad to know that we have this another Wisconsin connection to the Beatles that is truly significant.
It really is.
They played here in 1964 at the Milwaukee Arena, and now to know that Koss, technologically ahead of their time, and worked with the Beatles on one of the most coveted collectibles.
It's cool. You got me excited, like way more excited than I was before you showed up. It is really cool. It's special. It's special.
Big thank you to Koss Corporation Marketing Manager Martin Moore for the tour and the access to see the Beatle phones. He and I will do our follow-up research to learn the real history of the business of them and why they produce so few that they are so extremely collectible now. You know the album Meet the Beatles. We're going to meet the Britons. Next on What's on Tap.
Between market volatility, inflation, global unrest, and the presidential election, there's a lot going on. Take control with help from Annex Wealth Management. Have a plan built that matches up with your investment and retirement goals. Annex does it as a fee-only fiduciary with unbiased advice. Annex offers financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. Head to AnnexWealth.com, click the Get Started button. It's time to put things in order. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. AnnexWealth.com.
Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ Steve Scafidi. Yet another strong storm rolled through Oak Creek in South Milwaukee, causing actual damage at my house. Thankfully, I knew exactly what to do. I called my friends Jeff and Jake at Loyal Family Renovations, and Jeff came by to assess the damage. If your home has suffered storm damage, don't leave it up to the out-of-towners. Loyal Family is family-owned, and the loyalty belongs to their customers. Contact them today for a free damage inspection, and they'll help make your home remodeling dreams a reality. LoyalFamilyRenovations.com.
No matter what your timeline is, you deserve a journey to paradise with Fox World Travel and Royal Caribbean. When you get the craving for sunshine, poolside fun, and ocean views for miles, there's no reason to hold back. Make the most out of your time with an all-in-one cruise vacation. Let a Fox World Travel cruise expert save you from the daunting task of choosing from ships, ports, and staterooms. And visit foxworldtravel.com to plan your next cruise vacation. That's foxworldtravel.com.
If you need a place for new home interior ideas, then you have to come talk to us. Our on-staff decorators know furniture, home decor, and a lot more. And they're not only creative, but also very willing to help you make great choices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Stop in often because our inventory changes daily.
Design Exchange.
Previously, it has been gently loved, but here you'll only find very well-conditioned premium home decor items that you likely won't find elsewhere. Distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original art, and other tasteful home decor at a value. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
You're listening to What's on Tap with Sandy Max on WTMJ.
Celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Beatles performing at the Milwaukee Arena. The date, September 4th, 1964, and that appearance is a memory that lives on for local music fans who were there and who wanted to be there. Milwaukee was one of only 24 cities on that tour. That's really special. 60 years later, the Beatles' music lives on. In your headphones, on digital players, on record players, and live. Local musicians are bringing Beatles music to audiences with a hearty appetite to hear those songs. Let's listen to highlights of WTMJ's Libby Collins' Conversations episode with the Britons.
It wasn't 20 years ago today, but back in 1977, when the Britons, Milwaukee's original Beatles tribute band, took to the stage at Southridge Mall. Since then, these four talented musicians have entertained fans throughout Wisconsin and the rest of the country with their consummate performance of the Beatles songbook. And joining us are Rick Bertoni. He, of course, plays Paul McCartney. Mike Shumway's here. He is John Lennon. Mike Tretchell. He's George Harrison. And Jeff Gish, Ringo Starr. And you know what? You're all such versatile and talented musicians. How did you determine which Beatles roles you would play? And I'm going to start with you, Rack.
Well, actually, when I first started with the band, I was playing the John Lennon. I was playing guitar. One of our members had moved back to Arizona, and I became the bass player at that point. So since 1980, I've been playing bass and doing Paul.
And then we've got Mike Shumway. And how did you end up being John?
Well, they needed a John Lennon. Their John Lennon went off into another band, and they knew that I liked the Beatles from just being a musician locally, and I knew a couple of the guys and had been out to see the Britons before I was in it. So it was just kind of a perfect fit at the time. They were looking to do a number of shows during the summer, and I was there to do it.
How about you, Mike Tretchell? George Harrison?
Well, kind of the same thing. They needed a George Harrison spot filled, went over and auditioned and got the part.
And Jeff Gish? Ringo, how can we forget you?
Hello, love. How are you doing? I actually started in '86 with the band. I replaced the original drummer, Mike Cuddy. I'll tell you a story here. This is a good story here. I actually auditioned for the band in '76. When Rick and Al Sherman were putting the band together. And I actually won the position. They called me up for a rehearsal and said, we're going to start rehearsals in a couple of weeks, and we'd like to set up some schedules. And at that time, I was with a group called the Miller Brothers. And I said, well, I think I'm going to stay with that band. I don't know if a Beatles tribute band will work. That's what I said. At that time, there was only like Elvis tribute bands, and I didn't think that an entire show of Beatles would work. And then a few weeks later, I'm seeing all these big billboards. It's happening again. And the back of their heads, they had a photograph of all four of them with the back of their heads. And that was their first Southridge appearance. And I'm like, I missed out. But then 10 years later, I ended up in the band. So.
And Rick, what was that like? Nobody expected it.
Not really. I was playing in other bands doing top 40, and my heart really wasn't in it just for that. And I loved Beatle music. And when I was in a top 40 band, we'd always do a few Beatles songs. And at that time, I could see the interest of the audience that liked that music. So I said, I think, as much as I love this, I think I could put a Beatles tribute band together and it would work. If you do it well and do justice to it, I think it's going to go over. So that was the goal I had back then in 1976. So I had another musician friend of mine, and he was with the band for a good 20 years. And then Mike Tretchell replaced him after he decided to retire. I'm the only one that stayed with the band this whole time, and that just means, I love that music that much that I just can't let it go. But I think what really got me interested in the Beatles, when I saw them on the Ed Sullivan Show, I used to hear the song I Want to Hold Your Hand. I wasn't sure who that band was, but I'd hear that on the transistor radio. We'd be listening to it. And then my dad called me in the living room, and the Beatles were playing, and all of a sudden they played that song, I Want to Hold Your Hand, and I said, that's the band that does that song? Well, 2 weeks later, I was taking guitar lessons and combing my hair down because I want to be like that. And I think a lot of kids my age at 11 years old and 12 and 13, that was their goal too. So anybody that wanted to play drums or guitar or keyboards, they were all getting into being a musician at that time. Some of us just carried on through and made a career out of it. So that's kind of what got me going. And I was really impressed that I was able to put a band together and people were there to follow the band and selling out, where I guess you could play Beatles all night long because Love Me Do and Revolution sound like two different bands. So there's such a variety, you can't hardly go wrong.
What was the first song you played as the Britons?
The very first song? Probably All My Lovin'. All My Lovin' was one of my all-time favorites, along with I Want to Hold Your Hand. That whole Meet the Beatles album is the reason I even play guitar. There's just so much music by the Beatles, but that's kind of what got me started, was that very early album.
WTMJ's Libby Collins interviewing Milwaukee's own Beatles tribute band, the Britons, on her show WTMJ Conversations. Next, the Britons share which Beatles songs are the most challenging to play, even when you know their music note for note. Celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Beatles performing in Milwaukee, I'm Sandy Max. This is What's on Tap.
Hi, I'm Jim Token, president of Adam, the automobile dealers of Metro Milwaukee.
I want to thank all the participating new car member dealers, and especially all of you who helped us recently present a check to Feeding America of Eastern Wisconsin for over $72,000 just by having your oil changed at an Adam member dealer. The donation provided over 220,000 healthy meals to those in need. Thank you again for changing your oil and changing lives.
Why trust Grandview Homes to buy your home? It's simple. We make the home selling process fast, easy, and stress-free, even if your home is less than perfect. No real estate agents, no repairs, no cleanouts needed. Leave the mess and the stress to us. At Grandview Homes, we live and work in your neighborhoods. Our reputation is built on 15 years treating sellers with the dignity and respect they deserve. Visit GrandviewHomes.com for your fair cash offer today. Grandview Homes, the fastest and easiest way to sell your home.
Our goal is to provide patients with the strongest, most effective, and safest options in this exciting field of regenerative medicine.
Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
The idea that you can avoid a joint replacement is very exciting.
And that's from a surgeon who's done thousands of joint replacements, but who now believes there's a better way.
Regenerative medicine, as we understand it today, gives lasting pain relief, improved function, without surgery, without drugs.
Under Dr. Scheinkup's leadership, QC Kinetics medical professionals treat patients every day with the most advanced protocols in natural biologics. Literally tens of thousands of people all over America.
I've been doing research on regenerative medicine for 2 decades. This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Are you passionate about supporting family farmers and strengthening rural communities? Well, look no further than the Wisconsin Farmers Union. WFU is a grassroots, member-driven organization committed to enhancing the quality of life for family farmers, rural communities, and all people. With chapters across the state, we unite farmers and rural allies around shared values and a vision for a better, more sustainable future. We tackle the big issues, from advocating for climate-smart agriculture and dairy policy reform to preserving our small and mid-sized farms. We're dedicated to building resilient food systems that benefit everyone. That's not all. We're also championing better access to quality health care and health insurance for farmers and rural communities alike, because we believe that everyone deserves the care they need to thrive. So whether you're a farmer, a rural resident, or simply someone who cares about the future of our state, join us at Wisconsin Farmers Union. Visit wisconsinfarmersunion.com to learn more and get involved today. Wisconsin Farmers Union, growing stronger together.
This is What's on Tap with Sandy Max.
Experiencing a bit of Beatlemania tonight on What's on Tap. I'm Sandy Max, and WTMJ's Libby Collins interviewed the local Beatles tribute band, the Britons, about all things Beatles on WTMJ's Conversations show recently. Musicians Mike Shumway, Rick Bertoni, Mike Tretchell, and Jeff Gish bring the John, Paul, George, and Ringo personas and music to stages all around the state. Here's another highlight from the Britons interview, starting with Libby asking about the difficulty of playing the Beatles music.
It seems like the earlier songs kind of had a formula to them, and were probably, and I'm not a musician, but I assume they're a little bit easier to play. But as the Beatles, oh, you're saying no, Rick, they're not that easy?
They're not necessarily easier, no. Just because they're earlier doesn't make them easier. There was definitely a pocket that they were living in those early songs that were very hard to capture. Really hard to capture that lightning in a bottle. Yeah. And some of the later stuff is a little bit more set in place, and it's a little easier to kind of work and get that, mold that, we find, than sometimes getting that tone and exact feel of an early song. It's kind of hard to explain, Libby, unless you're working with us on it, but you can take a song like Please Please Me. I don't think if the Beatles went back into the studio 10 years later, they could capture that same tone, the same sound, because it was so difficult at that time to get that, that's it. That's the song. That's your first number one hit. It's because of the overall energy and everything that was involved with that. There was a certain amount of energy in the early songs.
Technology in the early days was very, very basic and primitive. Nowadays, or even in the later Beatle eras too, there was so much extra overdubbing of things that they wanted to have. So it was more of a mastery later in their albums than it was early, to where, George Martin had them come in and do so many songs within so many hours. It was very regimented. And the equipment was kind of prehistoric, like I said, compared to today's standards. So,
But you did say that some of their later music had a lot of other sounds that they could only produce in a studio. Yet you perform many of those songs when you're doing a show. How do you do that?
technology is really advanced. Keyboards now can do things that they couldn't do years ago with sounds and being able to sample things to where you can play that now with a keyboard, but you couldn't years ago.
Digital pedals for the guitars, too. Mike can make his guitar sound like a sitar now, where we'd have to bring a special instrument for that. He can do that with a push of a button.
I'm going to ask all of you what your favorite Beatles songs are. Not just to perform, but overall. And you can answer it in a two-part. If you want to tell me the favorite one that you like performing and the favorite one that you like listening to. Jeff, let's start with you.
Tomorrow Never Knows is my favorite listening song. I think it's really creative. Performing, so hard to put a pin on that. Come Together is a great one to do, you know.
Not a Ringo solo?
No, I mean, well, he only had one that I know of. Golden Slumbers. He does a solo in there, and it's a cool riff, too. He said he stole it from Inagata Davida. That's the truth. That record had just come out, and he really liked that. So he did that portion of Inagata Davida in that song.
You've got to play that. I want to hear that one now.
Yeah, you'll have to listen for it if we ever do play it. We haven't played it in such a long time.
How about you, Mike Trutchell?
Well, first, my favorite album's Abbey Road, their last recorded album. My favorite is the Golden Slumbers medley off of that. Ask Me Tomorrow, I might have a different one. But that one particularly, because that was like their swan song. And towards the end of it, John, Paul, and George traded lead riffs on it. And I just thought it was a great way to go out.
Isn't it interesting how you said, ask me tomorrow and it might be a different song? Because a lot of Beatles fans will tell you that. Let's turn to Mike Shumway. What's your favorite to perform and your favorite to listen to?
Probably favorite to perform, maybe Help. I don't know that I could pick, like Mike said, it all depends on your mood. There's times where some of the ballads that the Beatles had, I could listen to those all afternoon because I'm kind of in a mellow mood. And then other times, rockers like Helter Skelter hit the spot. So it all depends on kind of the way you're feeling at the time. And I think that's the same with Beatles fans, too. They have a hard time picking. They have a list of songs, but it all depends on their mood at the time.
How about you, Victor Tony?
Well, I think all your children are just as important. So it's hard to pick one. I got to go back to I Want to Hold Your Hand, Libby, because like I said, that's the reason I play guitar. And the reason I got into being a musician was that song. I liked music way before the Beatles, but the Beatles just put me over the top. And so I have to go to that song. It's one of my favorite songs all time, favorite song to play. And I also like All My Lovin'. I get to sing that one, and there's a lot of bass in it. It's a wonderful rhythm guitar work. It's just a great song. And so, like I say, how do you pick one of your children as your favorite? They're all good. You know, you love them all for different reasons. And that's kind of where I think I'm at.
Are there any Beatles songs you would never perform? Either because you don't like them, or they're too difficult, or you just don't think it's good music?
Revolution number 9.
Yeah, that would come to mind, yeah.
You know my name, you know my number. That there's a couple of tunes off the White Album that are, they may be creative, but I mean, for us as a performance standard and for the people that we're playing to, I don't think they would be as well received. People would rather hear something that they're more familiar with. And not saying that they're bad songs, it's just probably not appropriate for the type of venues that we do.
Well, and a lot of the venues you do, people do love to get up. They like to move around. They like to dance, as you said, all ages, from little teeny tiny kids to older people. And there's such a community that comes together at one of your shows.
I agree.
Yes. And that's what, just like our John right here was saying, you know, there's so many songs to pick from. We want to pick the songs that not your die-hard Beatle fan will know, but just the average fan would know, because we don't want to play songs where they're not sure that was that a Beatles song or not. You know, we want them to know that that was a Beatles song. So we're trying to play the most recognizable tunes. And we have so many that why not play the most recognizable tunes for a show?
Well, you said you have a catalog personally of about 157 of 210 or so. Are you learning more?
Well,
I mean, is it going to be 175, 182?
Well, it might be, but, you know, we've kind of captured most of the ones that we're trying to do. Everyone once in a while we'll say, you know, something I want to do, like our Mike Shumway here wanted to do Every Little Thing. So we learned that song.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's in our show now.
Yeah, we have never really did that song before, but it's a catchy tune, and it's not a number one hit, but it seems to be going over pretty well. So that's how we base it, too. If it starts to look like it's not working, we may drop that song for a while and move on to a different one.
And sometimes for a CD, we might record a song that we never perform.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's the other thing, is you do have CDs. It's not that you just perform live. How many CDs do you have these days?
I don't know, I kind of lost track over the years.
Well, there's probably 5 or 6 CDs, you know, and I think we've been kind of having about 3 of them on hand most of the time that we have lately that we've been using. So we have some.
Are there any that you put songs on that you feel, oh, you know what, we should maybe re-record that at a later date?
Yeah, I don't think I don't think we're ever completely satisfied with the way we produce something. We're usually very happy with it, but I think we could have done that even better. I think that's just the musician in us. It's never good enough.
You almost
we're never getting to the top of the mountain with these, but we get as close as we can. And again, with the audience that we have, if we're not to their satisfaction, they'll let us know. Because Beatles fans are very passionate that if you're not doing justice, they'll make you aware of it.
They are the Britons, a tribute to the Beatles, interviewed by WTMJ's Libby Collins on her WTMJ Conversations show recently. You can hear and see the Britons. Hear that full interview on the WTMJ Conversations podcast at WTMJ.com and experience them live. They have shows listed on their website for Neenah on September 20th, Cedarburg and Racine in October, and a Brookfield show in November. The Britons, BRITINS.com to find out more. Another way to get a live music fix of the Beatles is on Saturday night, a show called 1964, The Tribute, another set of musicians dedicated to the Fab Four. That's Saturday night at Milwaukee's Pabst Theater. 1964, The Tribute. Let's hear the real thing on What's on Tap. The song you need to hear next, the song that the Beatles opened with at their 1964 Milwaukee Arena show. Next on WTMJ.
The Upswing is your place for commerce and community.
Some school supplies, according to monthly retail tracking data, are actually cheaper than last year. But a lot of other categories that are up 10, 11%.
Hosted by Jeff Sherman.
The average family is estimated to spend $874.68.
Weekdays from 10 to 11 on WTMJ. Presented by Horicon Bank, the natural choice for all your banking needs.
I was stuffed up. It was almost like someone put a clothespin over my nose. As an athlete, it did affect my performance. And as I got older, the congestion and poor sleep really took their toll.
Mike's a lifetime athlete. After hearing about Advent, he felt he could finally find a solution to his breathing triangle problems.
With my congestion, the kind of sleep I was getting wasn't allowing me to function the way I wanted to.
When your nose isn't working like it should be, it's going to negatively affect your sleep. And then you really can't be at your best at anything that you're doing.
It's been about 5 years since coming to Advent, and what balloon sinuplasty did for my quality of life, that step I took was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Balloon sinuplasty can help solve your breathing triangle problems, which will help you sleep better, and that's going to help you live a better quality of life.
Unlock your potential. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
This is Brad Youngbooth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. We have 2 big humps in this business, right before summer and right after fall. And for us, that's when the lines are the longest. Folks usually choose to do their exterior work during those times, and what I'm trying to do here with this message is level out the flow of business so that we don't have to disappoint anyone come November and December because they were hoping to get their work done before the snow flies. I understand where the focus is during summer, but you know what? It really is a great time to get signed up for your exterior work, like siding and windows, because that's